It's time to add some spice to your nooner. Nooner funny. This is the place where big-time guests, bold opinions, and little cute doggies come together. This is Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus, the #1 rated windows and doors in Columbus.
All righty, back at it. Rando Tuesday style. Rothman and Ice, Anthony Rothman, Matty Ice Hayes. And I don't know what we're calling him today. Spin the wheel of nicknames. Baby Chet, the loose cannon, Missionary Jack.
Yeah.
Either way, I think he's still on the DL.
I think today he'll be Baby Chet because Chet Holmgren is playing tonight. We got the Western Conference Finals tipping off, which I cannot wait to get into. But yeah, man, we're back in here feeling good.
Nice, good to see you.
It's great to see you, Tress, my dog. Good to see you again. It was a chilly morning, AR, like some football weather, that mid-season football weather today when I went outside and got a little workout in. But yeah, feeling good. Got a little windbreaker on today. We all got hoodies. Chet's going beanies. Got the Steeler beanie with the Ohio State hoodie going on. So an interesting combination over there. But no, good to be back, man, and ready to cook with you boys.
Yes, it will be good. Did Chet Holmgren, did he get hard fouled the other day or something? What did I see?
Hard foul again. We're talking hard fouls again? I don't know. Maybe I missed it. Maybe I missed it. I don't know.
All right, either way.
Need to get Chet Holmgren a cheeseburger, though.
Oh, man. He's the 7-1 stringer, isn't he?
Slim Reaper 2.0.
Yeah, he really is. When he's walking in that commercial on the red carpet with his boys, they're all wearing the same outfit.
Shay and Jay
the
Will.
blue little beanies slanted and all that. I'm not sure he's and what was he wearing in that? He was wearing those.
They're all wearing the same thing. I don't know.
Culottes or something, like those pants that don't go all the way down, like those clam diggers.
Yeah, I think it's an AT&T commercial. Yeah. I don't know exactly what it is, but the fits are out there. It's not like Justin Bieber's fit the other day.
What in the hell is that kid thinking? I mean, I love that Drake said he's the curse, which is nice. But when I saw him at that hockey game wearing what he was wearing, this isn't the MTV Awards. You're going to a sporting event.
Celebrities, man.
I know, but it's not even NBA. It's at a hocky game. You're in the stands.
What did NBA have to do anything with it?
Because you're kind of like front row, he's
on the glass. He was right behind the team.
Was he?
I think he and Haley. I think Haley, is that her name? That's his wife's name. I'm pretty sure they were right there behind the Leafs bench.
Yeah, I guess it's just got a different feel for me. NBA, you're in the arena. You're on the court. He's not sitting on the ice.
Oh, I didn't really have a problem with it, no matter where you're sitting.
The outfit?
Whatever league you're going to watch. I don't think that should dictate what you wear.
You're kind of part of the show. You're right there. You're front row.
So what would you prefer them to wear? Just a uni? Just rock a uni?
No, something Leafs related.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like a Leafs uni.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was you describe to the folks? Tell the folks what he was wearing,
I
Matty.
Go look it up. You tell me, because this caught your attention yesterday, and I really didn't see it until you brought it up. But it's some type of, red beanie?
No, it wasn't a red beanie. It was like some
beanie?
sort of beige, sheepskin kind of weird hat, and then a red or some kind of weird jacket going on. Okay. It's it was like if you wanted to find, it was Where's Waldo, you'd pick him out in about a half a second if you looked at the arena.
Yeah, I'm seeing it now.
All right, tell the folks.
I'm seeing it
you're
now.
A fashionista
It's like
guy.
a red jacket, which I'm not mad at. And then the hat up top, I don't know if we would describe that as a beanie, but it's like a beige-ish beanie with some shades on. I'm honestly not that mad at it. And Wifey's got an amazing Toronto Maple Leafs jacket on. So she's holding it down for the Maple Leafs, and they're right behind the bench.
I don't know, man. He looked like he dropped in from another planet in that outfit. I really let people be the judge. Hey, TLC, you know the picture we're talking about?
Nope.
Oh, all right. Way to stay engaged. I'll get it to you, and then you'll tweet it out off the show page. See what kind of reaction we get.
All right.
I don't think this is going to be an overwhelming people would wear this, but I'm just so used to celebrities and athletes wearing wacky stuff that this is normal to me at this point.
All right, there's the question.
Seeing that stuff.
By the way, that's the question.
Yeah.
We'll put it out there. Is this normal?
For a
celebrity at a sporting event.
I think it's just normal attire for celebrities in general.
I think he's off the wall with this outfit.
I think you can say that for a lot of people, big dog. I really do.
I mean, that thing is bizarro world.
Hey, supporting his home country.
He's got you guys are too young for this reference, like a Devo kind of reference. It's got weird vibes to me. Yeah.
I like her jacket, though. I need that.
All right.
I'd rock that.
That's the old starter. Looks like an old starter Leafs jacket.
The jacket's fire that she has.
All right, so we got a lot to do today. We'll set the menu for you. Sam Brookhouse, Sumer Sports, coming on at 12:30. We'll talk about, by the way, the complexity. I think this sounds very easy about this, flag football. We're all going to just go have fun at the Olympics for a week and send a player and win a goal, come on home. I think there's a lot more. This seems very more convoluted to me, and I would say about how do you pick the player? What if you got multiple guys on a team that want to be represented? How do you vote them? Yeah. Are you going to have tryouts? Is there injury protection? What kind of fields are they playing on? I think there's a lot more to this. I guess the owners are going to vote, and I said the other day, I doubt they'll stand in front of this because it's got a kind of an
Fun.
Not just anti-fun, I think anti-patriotic.
That too.
I think that has more to do with it than anything, that they may not want to get in front of that. But I just think it's kind of interesting. What if you had 5 dudes on a team that says, no, I want to go. I want to represent us. What if Lamar says, I want to represent the Ravens?
I want to see him out there doing his thing. Shefty tweeted out today, a vote to allow NFL players to participate in flag football for the first time during the 2028 Summer Olympics in Los Angeles is expected to pass at today's league meeting in Minneapolis. Nothing is official yet, but as one source said about today's vote, quote, Olympics should be easy. Sounds like
passing it should be easy. Is that what you got out of that? You mean the vote passing should be easy?
Sounds like the owners are going to be in on this, AR. That's the vibe I'm getting from this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. I think it's going to be a hard one for them to get in front of. I just think I'm going to kind of a deeper into then how does this happen? It just sounds easy, and I don't know if it will be, but we'll find out. We'll talk to Sammy at 12:30.
And we'll talk to Shefty tomorrow, too. And, maybe this will be done at that point, and we'll have more information of how it will be done. I'm looking forward to it. I hope we do get some headline names around the league that participate in this thing, because it would definitely pull me in and lure me in to see how these guys will get after it.
What if I told you that Captain America Tommy Brady would want to just say, you know what, hike the ball to me. I'll stand there and sling it around.
I wouldn't want Tommy repping us right now. He's getting the mobility. We need a quarterback.
How much mobility does he really need?
We need a quarterback to escape the pocket and make some people miss. That's what you need in flag football. You don't need a quarterback that's going to be a statue, because they're going to send blitzers. There's nobody blocking those guys, really. So you got to get out of there pretty quickly. He's got the quick trigger with his arm, but the feet are in quicksand. He ain't going anywhere. So we need your pick, Lamar, Kyler Murray, one of those guys to represent, I think.
Playground this thing a little bit.
That's what we need at quarterback.
All right. Matty, I begged you. I thought you'd come in this weekend after sweeping the Guardians. It seemed like the timing was right. I'm not saying it would have been, but you've never been one to wait where you're more of a sure thing. You've always kind of put it out there early.
Yeah.
And when they swept the Guards, and now that they're 3.5 back, and they've got the Pirates now they'll feast on, and then I think you got the Cubbies coming up. I thought you'd drop a print the shirts. You haven't yet. They're one game over 500 and 3.5 back, and they've won 5 in a row. So I believe that makes them the hottest team in baseball right now.
Officially print the shirts season.
No, it isn't really, because Matty hasn't said it for 2025. And so we're going to have Tommy Thrall on. I hope you're enthralled by that.
Okay.
At 1:30, radio play-by-play for the Reds.
Yeah.
And I'll ask him, it's an October feel. You said it. It feels like October out there.
Here's when the print the shirts might come from your boy. You mentioned that Cubs series. Cubs are coming in town at GABP.
Huge series.
Big
you
time.
should be there.
Maybe I will slide down there. Maybe I will do that. May 23rd through the 25th. We come in on that Monday, and we win that series. I'm saying it.
All right, let me ask you this.
I'm saying it.
Do you have to sweep the Pirates first? Or does it not? Or does that not matter in what you just said?
To me, it doesn't matter as much, AR, because the Cubs are the measuring stick of the division right now with how good they've been, especially on offense.
That's right.
They're legit.
So you don't want to wait till the home and road series, the home and home against the Cubs.
No.
You're talking about right after they come to Cincinnati.
We take 2 of 3 from them.
2 of 3.
We win the series. Printing the shirts.
And it doesn't matter what happens in the next 2 against the Pirates, which we assume they'll win anyway. Like, what if what if it was something weird happened?
No, we're bringing the brooms out on the Pirates. You see what we did to them yesterday?
All right, so we're looking at a Monday, May 26th.
Actually, let me take that back. I don't know if Skeens is pitching.
Doesn't matter.
Has he been any?
We're 0-4 in May with Skeens on the mound.
He's pitching?
Yeah.
We're missing Skeens. All right, we're good. Yeah. We're bringing the brooms out.
All right, so Monday, May 26th.
Yeah, that'll be the day.
Okay.
That'll be the day. Print the shirts, baby.
Well, not yet.
I'm saying that's a little preview of what it would sound like. A little preview.
So a pregame. Basically, you're yelling to the guys back in the warehouse. Get them ready.
Get them ready.
That's
I already told you can print the shirts on the Hunter Green Cy Young T-shirt.
Yeah. Well, he's coming back for the Cubbies, right? I think he'll be back. That'll probably be his first start.
Hunter Green?
Yeah. Won't he? What am I thinking?
I don't know what you're thinking over there.
Well, isn't he been injured? Or am I wrong? What am I thinking of?
I don't know. You're throwing me off with this. But either way, my Hunter Green take is still out there. He's winning the Cy Young.
Why am I thinking that he's been out?
I think you're right.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Will he be coming back for that first game against the Cubbies?
I don't know.
Okay. I'm not trying to make you anxious. Just asking questions. It's your squad. Just trying to. I thought he'd been injured. You know, when you said he's going to win the Cy, I just wanted to
do that.
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of get a gauge on where you were on it. All right, we're going to come back and we're going to tackle Shadur again. And this time it comes from a former MVP. He gives his take on whether he'll prove everybody but Cleveland wrong. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
Head to 971thefan.com to listen on demand and subscribe to all our podcasts. Wasting time has never been easier. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, where we've successfully treated thousands of men for low testosterone and helped them feel like their old selves again. Please take a moment and listen to how we help Billy.
Hi, I'm Billy Hatcher, a former professional baseball player, and I'm a patient at Tri-State Men's Health. Before I started the treatment, it was like my body was sore all the time, and I was feeling very, very sluggish. One day, I would be full of energy. The next day it was like, where did all my energy go? And since I've started, my body hasn't felt this good in a long time. I feel like, I'm not 21 to 25 again. It's just been great. I feel very, very comfortable coming here. When you have the energy, it's amazing. You get to do so many other things that you couldn't do prior to that. If you're tired of hurting in the mornings, you want to improve your health, you want to feel better, give a call to Tri-State Men's Health. I promise you, you will feel better.
Thanks, Billy. It's true. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com.
It's been a great run. Care Heating and Cooling has achieved goals I could only imagine 30 years ago. But now it's time for the next generation to take over. This is Mike Weens, now the retired founder of Care Heating and Cooling with my sons, Dennis and Ryan.
Dad, as Care grew over the years, you had many opportunities to sell Care to one of the big conglomerates that are buying companies all over Central Ohio. So tell our customers why you decided to keep Care in the family.
After talking about Care's values for over 30 years, I couldn't bear the thought of Care becoming the kind of company I was warning our customers about. I know the two of you will continue to treat our customers as I would, with honesty and integrity.
We will, Dad. In 2024, Care was awarded a BBB Torch Award for Ethics and was named the Lennox Partner of the Year. You don't earn those awards by leaving cat toys behind.
Call Care Heating and Cooling at 1-800-COOLING or schedule an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com. When you need a company you can trust.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
...to...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom.
Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
As down payments get bigger, millions of renters across America feel like they'll never be able to buy a home. So instead of lowering expectations, Rocket Mortgage is lowering down payments to 1% for eligible home buyers with ONE+, helping more renters become owners. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to get a head start on your starter home.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC, licensed in all 50 states, NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030.
Hello, radio listeners. The Fan has a new weekday lineup. T-Bone and Tyvis hitting leadoff at 6. The Bishop and Friends stays at 9. That's not new. Rothman and Ice at noon. You already knew that. Common Man and Timmy at 3. That's slightly different. Even more inappropriate, if that's possible. And Beamer is the new host of the Buckeye Show. You're welcome. Or we're sorry. Pick one. Get all the details at 971thefan.com.
Have you ever told a friend?
Oh, I'm fine.
When you really felt?
Just so overwhelmed.
Or sent a text?
Can't sleep. Are you awake?
When you couldn't find the words to say?
I'm scared to be alone with my thoughts right now.
Then this is your sign to reach out to the 988 Lifeline for 24/7 free confidential support. You don't have to hide how you feel. Text, call, or chat anytime.
This is the sound of a popular American motorcycle. It's the sound of freedom, the open road, really good times. And this is what it sounds like with a drunk guy on it. How do you like the sound of that? Cops are cracking down on drunk motorcycle riders. If you ride drunk, you will get caught and you will get arrested. Drunk riding, over the limit, under arrest. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Transportation.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
A chilly day ahead today, so don't forget your jacket and your umbrella, although we'll see mostly cloudy skies. We'll also see rain develop with heavy downpours possible at times and gusty winds. Could have a chance of isolated thunderstorms. Showers likely continuing overnight, and then for Wednesday, we still have rain chances in the forecast with highs in the upper 60s. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with your 10 weather impact forecast.
Bet365, the official online sports book of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Want to jinx your favorite sports team?
Please get out of my Van Halen t-shirt before you jinx the band and they break up.
Just ask Maddie to print your shirts. You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
They were listening to our last conversation. So, Maddie, I could make the case, and I think maybe many people have, that the greatest undrafted player in the history of the NFL is Kurt Warner.
Yeah.
Certainly we could go through a list and we could have that fun this summer if we wanted to. He plays the ultimate position. He came out of nowhere, Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP, couple times MVP in the league, off the field, Walter Payton Man of the Year, so many Pro Bowls, led the league in passing, had great weapons. But he wasn't just a guy that slung it all over the place. He led the league in completion percentage for three times in his career. He led the league in passing, and he was all everything, and had the most touchdowns in a playoff run, and which ironically Flacco is in that neighborhood. When you think about that, Joe Montana, Kurt Warner, there's another one, Mahomes. And Flacco.
I think
Think about that party. We're all going to get together. We're going to throw a party.
Yeah.
Hey, the most touchdown passes ever in a playoff run, and we're all going to get together for a reunion. Hey, Joe. Hey, Patrick.
Yeah. You're not expecting Flacco to walk into that presidential suite. You're not expecting his key card to cash in to that door. I didn't expect that at all as a Ravens fan. I think it was like 12 touchdowns, 11 touchdowns to no picks on that run. You talk about going on a heater at the right time, because then he cashed in as well. That was the other part of the story is he went out there, took a risk on himself, and said, okay, you don't want to pay me now? I'm going to make you pay the ultimate way by bringing a Lombardi and playing elite football.
He really did. So I bring that up to bring up Shadur and his slide. And he's got just so much hype around him. Warner had the secret of being the unknown, of being the guy to be discovered.
Yeah.
We had Dick Vermeil on very recently for Gold Jacket Thursdays. And I asked him about that, about discovering him and picking him, and that he's got to stick around because when they threw him out against their number one defense in scouting and practice, it was very apparent to them. And Shedur's different. He's up against it. He's up against he's got to prove everybody wrong, where Kurt was just the only people he had to prove right was his coach and maybe his teammates to make sure they made the right decision. There wasn't that much hype. So Kurt Warner weighed in on the Shadur situation and the situation he's in Cleveland and whether he will indeed prove people wrong.
My evaluation was the most accurate quarterback I thought in this draft. Sets his feet when he's comfortable in the pocket and he delivers the football. The ball goes where he wants it to go. And, this was a quarterback that was asked to win football games for his team. I don't think that can be overstated, is that, you go to a team and it's a really good team and you become a complementary piece. Yeah, your stats might be a little bit better. Your win-loss record might be a little bit better. But to be asked to win games for your team, to have to go out there and throw the ball every single week for your team to be successful, and that's with, an offensive line that struggled over the last couple of years. I think there was a lot to like about Shadur Sanders.
Kind of gave him one of those, he's got potential. He didn't give him people are going to be wrong. His slide was wrong.
Kurt's basing his analysis off of just the X and O stuff. I think a lot of what we heard coming out of the draft stuff was maybe it was the meetings, maybe it's other stuff that comes along with Shadur that possibly turned teams off. Because you can't really dispute what Kurt said. I mean, we watched Shadur over the last couple of years, and last 2 seasons for sure, playing behind that offensive line was an absolute mess, and he still was one of the most efficient quarterbacks in the entire sport. And so now for Shadur, it's just all about turning the page and showing the Browns that I'm your guy. And it's going to be fascinating, right, just to see how they go about these reps week in and week out and day out, because it's just such a stacked and crowded room. And if you are Dylan, if you are Shadur, Kenny, Joe, are you really going to have plenty of opportunity to show the Browns who you can be? So for Shadur, I think he's going to handle the noise well. I think based off of how he's dealt with that his entire life, that's not going to shake him. I don't think he's going to fold at all by all the media attention and just all the eyeballs and all the criticism and praise that I'm sure will come when he does positive and negative things up there in Cleveland. So I think that's the one thing he has working for him in his favor that maybe Dylan Gabriel isn't used to, is this type of attention and this type of pressure-packed situation with the eyes of the NFL world focused on what you're going to do, snap in and snap out every single day in these practices and when we get to the games.
I think it's kind of twofold for me. I think right after the draft and right after they traded up to get him late at pick 144, I was thinking, I came in that Monday saying, this is the best gift he could have been given in a weird way, that he was given the gift of doubt. Because if you're drafted high or where he thought he'd be or late first round or the Steelers get him, you know what has to happen, Matty? He has to be great right away. Mm-hmm. He just has to. Because the pressure of being a first-round quarterback selected by Tomlin, that you get to save Pittsburgh, the QB that saved Pittsburgh. Because anybody that goes there has to be, did they find their next Ben? Did they find their next 10, 15-year quarterback? The fact that he's slid so far, and maybe for the right reasons, maybe for the wrong ones, you and I will never know, and the proof will be in how he plays. But he was given the gift of doubt. And when you're Deion Sanders' kid, that's a tough thing because you'll never probably get that. His whole life, he probably has been expected to be great. He's now not expected to be great. He's expected to prove that he belongs. There's a big difference. So I think he was given a big gift. On the other side, I agree with what you're saying, that since he slid so far, now there's pressure to prove people wrong. So there's pressure that comes with that. I'm not sure which one. I think I'm leaning more into that he was given the gift of doubt versus that he has pressure to prove people wrong. Maybe he's had that his whole life, but he's always been very good. So maybe he's the expectations always came along for the ride. But the weird part about Cleveland, and we pointed this out right after the draft, is that while they have to see what he's about, you can't trade up to 144, Matty, and then just decide that we're not going to give him the reps and give him the chance to prove it. That'd be so counterintuitive to going up and get him. The weirdness is that he wasn't the one. It was Dylan. Dylan was the one that they picked with Shadur still on the board. So they should both get an equal chance because they probably kind of know where they are in the quarterback desperation, relationship right now, where they are in the league, that they have to just volume shoot at quarterback. But I think it would be very odd if he didn't get every last opportunity to prove.
And I'm sure Kevin will come out, Kevin Stefanski, and hit us with the coach speak that these guys are going to have to earn it. And I think that partially is going to be real this year just because of the three guys that are in that room outside of Joe Flacco, who leaning will be their week 1 guy, but at some point you got to turn the page, and maybe it's after that week 9 bye. I was looking at some of the offensive rookie of the year odds over at Bet365, and Shadur right now is at 22-1. You got to scroll all the way down to plus 8,000 to get to Dillon Gabriel, which is interesting to me that Vegas has a heavy lean towards Shedeur having a better chance of winning the Offensive Rookie of the Year award over Dillon Gabriel. So Vegas always knows something. Maybe this is them baiting people right now. I don't know. But 22-1 for Shedeur, plus 8,000. And Dillon Gabriel's got the same odds as Harold Fannin Jr., the tight end they drafted from Bowling Green. And so that's just right now. Look, it's May, and it's the early portion of the spring and the summer on the football calendar. I don't want to get too crazy with this, but that caught my attention that Vegas believes that Shedeur has a better chance, and I think they believe he'll play more games, obviously, to get that opportunity to win the Offensive Rookie of the Year award for the Browns this year.
Maddie, you know I am going to take this and die on the hill. I'm so shocked that no one asked Andrew Berry. You've got them both, but you had a choice to pick one over the other. You had no idea that Shedeur would still be there when you picked Dillon. Why did you do that? Why did you choose Dillon over Shedeur? And his answer will be, well, I got them both, so it doesn't matter. So he can skip the question if he wants it. But I wish there has to be a reason. And maybe he has given one that I haven't read, or maybe he's given analysis of both guys. But I would love to know from Andrew Berry when you were sitting in that room, because you came in on the Monday just like I did, and you felt like this was a little bit of a
Jimmy push.
Because push from Jimmy.
Yes, they traded up to get Shedeur too. That was the other thing. They were like, okay, we see this guy on the board. We're willing to give up draft capital, whatever that was,
not much,
to do so. Right, nothing crazy at the time, but the fact that they even did that is just an absolute head scratcher. I think Shedeur is built more for AFC North football than Dillon is, based off of his stature and the way that he can spin the football. But Dillon has something that Shedeur really doesn't have, and that's mobility. And I think that's attractive too to not only Stefanski, but a lot of head coaches in today's NFL, is that have that quarterback be able to do a little bit more when maybe something doesn't go right with the play calling and how you dial it up.
Got Sam Brookhouse, Sumer Sports. He'll analyze it for us, the Shedeur pick, and whether he will prove people wrong. And how complex is sending players to the Olympics? We'll hit that as well. Rothman and Ice in the Fan.
Texting enrolls you into reoccurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone. I went through it a while back. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text. Text DIG to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text DIG to 42424. That's DIG to 42424.
Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
Common Man here for Universal Windows Direct. It is a big sale at Universal Windows Direct. You're getting an incredible 50% off your windows. That's half off, and it gets even better. For a limited time, you get no interest and no payments for 12 months. That's a whole year. I got to tell you when something's half and when something's a year. You also get a free entry door with your window purchase. Schedule your free in-home estimate today. Give them a call, 614-502-5220, or visit universalwindowsdirect.com. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
Many drugs, like cocaine, methamphetamine, and non-prescription pills, are often cut with dangerous opioids like fentanyl. As a result, nearly 14 Ohioans die daily from unintentional overdoses. That's why it's important to carry naloxone, such as Narcan, a life-saving medication that blocks the effects of fentanyl and other opioids. Over the last 5 years, naloxone has saved over 83,000 lives. Help save lives and visit naloxone.ohio.gov to learn more and find free naloxone. Remember, if you see an overdose occurring, always call 911.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
You're listening to Rothman and Ice on 97.1 The Fan.
All right, lots to get to with our friend Sam Brookhouse, Sumer Sports. He's on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Sam, welcome back. How you been?
I've been great. Thank y'all for having me.
Let's tackle Shadur first before we get to some other topics. So I had this question after the draft, and the Browns have never answered it. They picked Dillon Gabriel over Shedeur Sanders. They were both on the board. They could have taken Shedeur then. They didn't. They wound up volume shooting and getting them both. Give me your analysis on that. Did they make the right choice with both of them? Are you leaning one way or the other on either one, or is it just a total crapshoot on whether either one of these guys becomes an NFL starter?
Look, the way that I'll describe their draft kind of on the high level is that it felt like, they went to the convenience store, they were trying to get some candy as a late night snack, and then there was a 2-for-1 deal. And, when it's midnight, do you want to eat 2 Kit Kats at once? Probably not. But you'll take it. I think that's basically what happened to them kind of twice, frankly, in the trade down from Travis Hunter. I think that was honestly a pretty good bet. The analytical case that Travis Hunter is going to be an all-pro two-way guy and be relatively injury-free given the enormous amount of snaps that he took at Colorado is probably lower probability than one would expect given his prospect profile. And so I think, you trade back, you get a certified premium position in Mason Graham, but at the same time, now it feels kind of like that 2-for-1. Now you have a first rounder. Last year when you really probably could have been fine with Travis Hunter, it was the same way with the quarterback position. It's clear to me, given where they selected the players, that they liked Dillon Gabriel better, but it got to an analytical standpoint where a player on the consensus big board, where 100 to 150 people have analyzed these players, and almost all these people do it for a living and do it at a high level. When you have a guy who is the 21st to 29th best player in the draft, as looked at by 100 to 150 people, if you can snag him in the 5th round, particularly at that premium quarterback position, it's a 2-for-1 deal. I think they probably looked at the analytics, looked at their board, made a decision on those 2 moves to go ahead and make the analytically correct decision at a very low cost or for a very, high value in the situation of the Travis Hunter pick. So analytically, I liked it. I think it made sense what they did, and I think now they go into this year after having several years of quarterback questions or quarterback, injuries and so forth and so on, and they have a lot of options that they can sort through.
Sam, I want to ask you about the quarterback room moving forward and your thoughts on keeping the 4 guys that are in there, maybe moving on from one of the vets in Kenny Pickett or Joe Flacco. If you had to keep one of those guys as a safety net for Dillon Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders, which one would you roll with?
So we've seen the Browns carry a lot of quarterbacks. I mean, last year they kept DTR on the Dorian Thompson-Robinson on the roster for most of the year, despite having multiple different options at the quarterback position. I think that's probably going to be the case, at least going into camp and probably deep into camp. I also think, a guy like Joe Flacco has proven valuable to teams, or at least can take snaps for teams mid-season coming in. I expect one of these NFL teams that will probably need a quarterback, and perhaps you do something to try to figure out a trade or something like that for one of those guys. But I actually think they may actually just carry all 4, depending on how camp goes. One thing to note, though, it's really difficult to get 4 guys snaps in camp. I mean, you look at old Bill Polian from the Colts when they had Peyton Manning, obviously a much higher caliber starting quarterback than the Browns currently have on their roster, as far as we know right now. But he said he gave all the starters the reps because I'll pardon my French, or I'll paraphrase here, but basically you're in really bad business if the starter goes down. So it'll be interesting to see how they break those snaps up, but I actually wouldn't be surprised if they end up carrying 4. We also saw Kevin O'Connell do a similar thing last year when there was some uncertainty at the position for the Vikings. So I don't think that's outside of the realm of possibility.
Sam Brookhouse with us, Sumer Sports on Rothman and Ice, Bryant Heating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. All right, so flag football, grand stage, 2028 Olympic Summer Games in L.A. So I understand the owners are probably not get in front of this because it would be anti-patriotic. And also you get a chance to, I don't know how much this will grow the game, putting NFL players in flag football. They're already playing a lot of games overseas anyway, the real football. But is this more, does this have a chance to backfire at all? Or do you feel like this is just a no-brainer to do it?
As it happens with football, it's a dangerous game. However, a lot of that danger is mitigated by it being, in theory, a non-contact sport. But if you've watched any of the girls play on the Pro Bowl or any of the competitive girls flag football at a high level, it's pretty rough out there. But there's always a chance for injury. I think it's probably, frankly, though, a low bar or a low, increase of viewership for the NFL. I'm really interested in these college players. How cool would it be to see, next year Arch Manning and Jeremiah Smith and those guys that, the folks who don't follow college football or don't necessarily follow prospect recruiting or anything like that. I mean, these are extremely high-level players. I'm a little bit more interested in the college guys. Obviously, the NBA and basketball did that for years and years in the 70s and 80s, and it ended up leading to the Dream Team. I'd be juiced either way, but I'm a little bit more interested to see the college guys get involved, per se, than the NFL guys.
So one of the, headline moves of the offseason was George Pickens going from Pittsburgh to Dallas. When you look at where Dallas is right now in comparison to Washington and Philadelphia after the years those two teams have, how is Dallas stacking up for you in the NFC East?
So I think it's really interesting. Last year when Dak was healthy, which was, not a ton, even when he was playing, he wasn't as great as that near MVP year the year before. I think their goal this year was to have CeeDee Lamb, a certified top 3, top 5 receiver, have a little help, particularly on down the field throws and difficult catches. Now, it's always difficult to break down whether the wide receiver is doing a good job on a difficult catch or whether the quarterback made a really good throw. That was actually one of the problems with DK Metcalf last year. He wasn't running super great routes according to our Sumer scores. He wasn't really doing much after the catch. And when you went and looked at what Geno Smith was able to do, he was extremely accurate on deep passes. That was kind of the case with George Pickens as well. I think they're betting that a young player who is playing for a contract will be able to be that contested catch red zone guy that will get a little attention, at least deep, off of CeeDee Lamb and allow CeeDee Lamb to be even more impactful. And you look at Justin Jefferson, who has several good wide receivers and tight ends around him. You look at Jamar Chase, who has T. Higgins and a full swell of tight ends and other weapons on that team. And I think that's kind of what they're trying to build toward, especially as they evaluate Dak on his big contract moving forward, and they evaluate George Pickens potentially on his extension next year.
All right, Sam, couldn't wait to get your opinion on the Purdy deal. And listen, nobody in their right mind would say he's worth more than Lamar Jackson or Jalen Hurts or Patrick Mahomes, but this is the going rate, I guess, in the NFL. Do you think that the 49ers did this because they truly believe, I think they would have to pay him this amount of money, or it's almost like twofold. They want to prove themselves right. They picked him as Mr. Irrelevant, and he's the best they have right now, and they feel like this was the deal to be made with him? Or does this sound just way out of whack for Brock Purdy to be making $53 million a year?
So here's what we know. We know that they did a similar thing with Jimmy Garoppolo, with much, much, much less evidence that he can be a great starter. Jimmy G was coming off the injuries, and they still went ahead and gave him a big contract, ended up working out, made a Super Bowl appearance, then moved off of him, both with the Trey Lance selection and then obviously with Purdy being able to slot in after injury. I was really surprised it was only, 53 APY. I was expecting more in the range of the Dak Prescott $60 million APY contract. And so I'm going to kind of speak on both sides of my mouth here. You look at Kyle Shanahan and what he's been able to do with virtually any quarterback at the position on their team, and you could make the argument that perhaps it would have been more valuable to try to go get a Sam Darnold on a kind of a lesser contract. That being said, Sam Darnold was in that building. They have a lot more information on him, so forth and so on. But then you look at the guys who make around $53 million, Jared Goff, Tua Tagovailoa. They're these guys who can perform extremely well in these systems. And I kind of wonder if the quarterback position isn't so valuable and has to touch, the offensive line, setting the protection, the wide receivers, getting the ball out to them, checking at the line, working with the offensive coordinator, that the surplus value or the overpay, which you could say when you have a guy who has played 3 or 4 years, really isn't overblown, and you just got to pay what it takes to have a good quarterback. And I think that's basically what they did. I was okay with the deal at the $53 million APY figure. If it was going to end up being $63 or $65 million APY, I was, didn't quite have the same appetite for that.
All right, my man. Great stuff as always. Good connecting again. We'll talk soon. Thanks, Sam.
Thank y'all very much.
Sam Brookhouse, Sumer Sports on the Bryan Heating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. All right, we'll come back. And it looks like that maybe the Bronx broke Juan Soto a little bit. Wait till you hear his reaction to being called out. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
Winners of the prestigious Platinum Microphone Award every year, given to the best radio station in the world. No need to look it up. It's real. The Fan.
Forever starts with the perfect diamond. Hi, it's Alex Johnson from the Diamond Cellar, and for over 78 years, our family has helped generations of couples celebrate love with brilliance, quality, and unbeatable prices. At Diamond Cellar, bigger diamonds and better prices are our promise to you. Whether you're popping the question or upgrading your sparkle, trust the experts. Because diamonds, they're our forte. Visit us at Diamond Cellar on Sawmill Road or at Easton Town Center and learn more at diamondcellar.com.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, and it's no surprise. Same game parlay from Bet365 just keeps getting better.
Well, it's even easier to make a bet. Choose from the most popular markets like hits, run line, totals, and home runs. So many to choose from.
Download the app, start building your bet, and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. T&Cs apply.
Hey, it's Anthony Rothman. From sold-out stadiums under Friday night lights to more than 100,000 screaming fans on the banks of the Olentangy. America's football capital is right here in Ohio. But the greatest football players and coaches of all time live up the road in Canton at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And a trip there should be on every football fan's list. Go to 971thefan.com/goldjacket and enter to win a VIP experience to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Ignite the passion. Relive the glory.
Hiring today for tomorrow with WM. A stable career and a safe environment. That's what you get as a heavy-duty mechanic at WM. Plus great benefits like 100% tuition coverage for you and your family. WM is now hiring heavy-duty mechanics in Columbus. Get boot and tool allowance and additional pay with a Cummins certification or CDL license. There are openings for CDL truck drivers too with home daily routes. Apply online at careers.wm.com. That's careers.wm.com. A people-first, military-friendly, equal opportunity employer.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
...to...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom. Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
As down payments get bigger, millions of renters across America feel like they'll never be able to buy a home. So instead of lowering expectations, Rocket Mortgage is lowering down payments to 1% for eligible home buyers with ONE+, helping more renters become owners. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to get a head start on your starter home.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC, licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030.
Join Rothman and Ice every Thursday at 2:30 for Gold Jacket Thursday.
Presented by the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
A new Hall of Famer joins the show every week, but not OJ because he's dead and probably a murderer. The Fan.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy. And from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
The Fan Poll is brought to you by Caster Connection. Visit casterconnection.com to shop online or to work with our Caster Solution Specialists.
Anthony used to ski in his jeans? Are you serious? No, he's not from New Jersey. Back to Rothman and Ice.
Juan Soto loved being a Yankee. He loves $765 million, a little bit more. It's not like the Mets are bad. They're not. But it was a record-breaking deal. And it included the second he put pen on paper, a $75 million signing bonus. And so it's considered the largest in professional sports as far as like the total number and everything that's included. So Mets fans are pretty irate over him not hustling at a pretty crucial point of the Subway Series. And how could anyone that's ever played sports, been coached, how could anyone have a different opinion? I don't know. Yes, do I leave a little bit of percentage that he thought he hit it out of the ballpark, and when you're a slugger and you get it all, you feel like, okay, not in that park, not with that wall.
Fenway, right?
Yeah.
The Green Monster.
I just don't understand why you would feel like this is a couple times this has happened now. And I don't listen, if he was making $20 million, $10 million, $5 million, would it matter? It probably wouldn't be as big of a headline than if he's signed a $765 million contract and he's not hustling out of the box and he turns a walking double into a single. So the game was tied 2-2. He led off the inning against, let me see, this was in Fenway. There was another one, Matty, in the Yankees series. Did you see that one?
I didn't. I just saw the one in Boston.
Yes. Well, this has happened a couple times now.
Okay.
And he's just not hustling. Nobody really knows what he's thinking. It was 2-2 against the Yanks. We'll get to the Fenway one in a minute. 2-2, he led off the inning, and he hit one up the middle. DJ LeMahieu goes into a kind of a tough sliding grab to his right, and by the time he got the ball on the grass just beyond the infield, Soto wasn't even halfway down the line. He kind of kicked it into high gear once he knew LeMahieu had it. So he obviously should have hustled, and maybe this is just who he is. And then it comes to Fenway. And again, like I said, hits it off the Green Monster. And, I mean, he was booed so much by Yankee fans. And I'm wondering if he is just kind of in his own world right now.
It wouldn't surprise me because you think about his career path and being the kid in Washington that wins a World Series. Then you go to San Diego, you bust a move back over to New York, especially the last two stops in New York here. In New York, you're covered a little bit by Aaron Judge, both in the baseball sense and the spotlight. Like Aaron Judge can soak up a lot of that. And I think when you go across town to Queens and the focus is all you, it's a different type of pressure. It just really is. And we saw Francisco Lindor go through this his first time over there in New York as a Met. Man, it took him a little while to get going. And it wouldn't surprise me, no matter how good you are, that's just a different type of heat in the kitchen. And for Juan Soto, he's not reacting to it well. You mentioned the money. That's only going to add to this. And also, you've been added to a team that was close to getting to the World Series last year. And so people are looking at you as the piece that should put us over the top. And so I think two things that you can do as an athlete, especially when you're a star, that can really turn people off. One is cheating and cutting corners. And two, is just acting like an absolute, I'm better than everybody. I don't have to try. No matter what happens to me, I'm getting a whole bunch of money. I'm good. Is that going to continue for Juan Soto? I don't know, but I know that's been some of the reaction out there. Now you got the back pages and the New York Post and all this stuff throwing out headlines like Juan Slow-Mo. Soto fails to bust it out of the box again and denies it's an issue after an ugly loss. So the New York media is all over him right now, and they're not going to ease up until the most important thing happens, which is him hitting and getting back to Juan Soto, because that's the elephant in the room, but it's also his reaction to what you laid out and the lack of effort, which is just a big time no-no.
Yeah, I mean, if you're the owner, you're the manager, you're paying him to hit, but you're also paying him to hustle and do everything inside the lines correctly.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to go crazy that he didn't want to be mic'd up on Sunday Night Baseball. In fact, I almost look at that as being a professional. No, I don't need that. I'm playing the game.
Focused.
I don't need to be mic'd up or give somebody else a chance, somebody that doesn't need that kind of pub. So I'm okay with that. The other one is, and I didn't know this, I don't know if you guys knew this, whether or not he flies private to the road games.
I heard that was out there. I don't know if that's confirmed. The last time I heard something like that was when James Harden was doing some of that stuff when he was with the Houston Rockets. If that did happen or that does happen, it doesn't surprise me, especially when you get a contract like that and you've got that much power.
I don't think he does.
Sometimes those things can be baked in there, but yeah, I think if that happened with the world that we live in, we've had evidence of that, or we would have evidence of him doing that, not being with the squad.
Passan debunked that.
Jeff Passan, ESPN. Okay, good.
To clear up what others have asserted, Juan Soto does not fly separately from his New York Mets teammates on a private jet.
All right. I mean, maybe he gets his family on one.
He can afford it. That's
maybe
for sure.
He has joined them one time in some situation, and now people are. I remember right after NIL and right after it was either Jackson Dart or somebody got the wheels up or somebody. I remember coming on there saying, "Watch, there'll be one day where one of these college quarterbacks will fly to the roadies on their own."
I don't think
it'll happen one day. Yeah, I know.
I was wrong. You were right. I thought it would happen.
I haven't been right yet.
Because you said it wasn't going to happen, I believe, right? And
I said, watch, it could happen. I was very against it if someone did that.
Just individually.
Yeah,
and
I would say that'd be a stupid decision to do that.
Yeah, and I was like, just bring the O-line with you, the wide receivers, bring a group of guys, and maybe that'll look a little bit better. But to my knowledge, I don't think it's happened around college football.
Coach, I'll see you at the game.
Exactly.
Listen, this guy's a great player. He's going to start hitting. That's the thing, what's going on with Juan Soto. I guess he could go into a major slump, and this could affect him. And I heard guys on ESPN this morning saying he doesn't look like he's having fun or whatever. Listen, playing well, hitting, that's what it's about for him. He's a beast. I don't know if he'll live up to this contract. I don't know if anybody could.
Right.
But he is a future Hall of Famer, and he's going to have to start hitting, which he will. But it looks like the one thing he can do is the one thing you teach kids from a very young age. Effort. I don't care if you're out. Run it out.
Because you never know.
It's the one thing you've always been told.
Yep.
And so his manager, Carlos Mendoza, was kind of put on the hot seat a little bit by the media. So this is the first voice you'll hear is Mendoza's, and then it'll kind of mash at the end into a reporter asking Soto about it.
Soto didn't bust it out of the box on that ball off the wall. Last night he had a play where he was a little slow getting out of it. Do you have to talk to him about any of that?
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk to him about it. Tonight, obviously, someone gets a hold of one and knows when he gets it, he's won, And he thought he had it, with the win and all that. And in this ballpark, or anywhere, but in particular in this one, with that wall right there, you got to get out of the box. So, we'll discuss that.
Last couple of nights, you've had a couple of plays where you were slow getting out of the box. Is that something you have to be more aware of?
No. I think being hustling very hard. If you see it today, you could tell.
No, I can't tell. I mean, I applaud if that's your honest answer. How could you see that and not think?
Yeah.
The better answer would have been, guys, I put a lot into that swing. I thought I got it all. I probably admired it for a half a second too long. I'll learn from it, and I'll run next time. It got me this time. It rarely does. Like, he could have sidestepped it with a little bit of honesty.
You're right. You're 100% right in this, because what he did in that soundbite we heard was make it a bigger story. Then you blow it up because we have the evidence of you not hustling. Like, it's right there in front of our eyes. Don't tell us we're seeing something and making something up. Like, you're not doing what you're supposed to do. And then you put your manager in a tough spot because if Mendoza comes out and doesn't say what he said, then he's going to get bodied and dunked on by the media and fan base for not coming down on Juan Soto. So Juan should have stepped up and said exactly what you said. As one of the leaders of this team in that situation, I thought I hit a dinger. I thought I was going to pimp a home run, and I was wrong. If you do that, this is a non-story.
You know what else would be a non-story? Like if he did this, if he was batting 360.
There you go.
Or 310.
He's batting 240.
He's batting 240.
Exactly.
So you better start hustling.
Yeah, you better.
That's it.
Yeah.
Honestly. And I saw somebody either from Barstool or somebody say, if you believe Mets management is concerned about his lack of enthusiasm, you're the dumbest person alive. Really? Come on. They feel the pressure, too, from fans.
Yeah.
You know, yes, you paid for his bat, but you paid for a baseball player. Be one.
Fellas, you know what you need to pay for? It's your health and your energy and getting that in order. Because if you've been waiting to treat your low T or ED, or maybe you had a bad experience with a clinic that opened quickly and closed and just didn't have good service, it's time to get in there, that being the Columbus Men's Clinic, and move forward with your sex life, your career, and gym goals. They specialize in seeing guys who think they're out of luck regain hope that they can be successful in the bedroom and beyond. Seriously, go see the team that for 10 years has been #1 in Ohio for men's health. Stop thinking about it and get on in there. Call 614-300-7400. That's 614-300-7400, or go online to columbusmensclinic.com to book an appointment today. columbusmensclinic.com.
Coming up second hour, NFL owners voting on a proposal to change the way the playoffs are set up. We'll give you the details next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
Oh, hey, the best football team in the country's on the best radio station in the country. Congratulations, Buckeyes. Here's to 100 more years together. Your home of the Buckeyes, the Fan.
That's are us. When dreams don't get in, that's are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsareus.com. 380-225-BATH.
That's are us. When dreams don't get in, that's are us.
Hey, it's Anthony for Orthopedic One. I'm not invincible anymore. I never was, but I refuse to punt on things I still love to do. That's why over the past several years, when I've had things creep up, like back pain, shoulder issue, elbow problem, I've had it all, I've always chosen Orthopedic One. That's because Orthopedic One is Ohio's largest physician-owned orthopedic practice with 60 physicians in every specialty. Find a physician or location near you at orthopedic1.com. Orthopedic One. This is where you go to get better.
Dealin' Days are back at Lindsay Honda. Lock in your deal in May. Save thousands on hundreds of new Hondas. Simply pick your new 2025 Honda and enjoy 0% for up to 60 months. Yes, 0% for up to 60 months on all new 2025 Hondas, including HR-V, Pilot, and Ridgeline.
Cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs. Lindsay's got it, and you're gonna save.
See you, Lindsay Honda, during Dealin' Days. See lindsayhonda.com for details.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Spring into savings at Ohio Mulch. Get your mulch as easy as ever. Save $50 on home delivery now through Sunday. All you got to do is visit ohiomulch.com today.
Ohio Mulch, landscape supply.
This is This Date in Reds Baseball with team historian Greg Rhodes.
One of the great pitchers in Reds history had a milestone performance on this day, May 20th, 1945. The pitcher, Bucky Walters, the right-hander who, along with Paul Derringer, led the Reds pitching staff for many years and made it the best in the National League. In 1939, Walters was so good, he won the pitching triple crown. He led the league in wins, strikeouts, and ERA, and won the Most Valuable Player award, the only Reds pitcher to do so. And his milestone on this date, well, it happened at the plate. He homered twice in one game, the only Reds pitcher in the 20th century to accomplish that. On this May 20th, 1945, this date in Reds baseball.
This Date in Reds Baseball is brought to you by the Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame and Museum, presented by Dinsmore. Celebrating greatness, preserving history, providing inspiration.
Common Man here for Jermaine Lexus of Dublin and Easton. A lot of dealerships not stocking much inventory right now because of reasons. But at Jermaine Lexus, they have new inventory arriving every day. Get what you want when you want it. Lease the all-new NX3
$350 for as low as $389 per month. How about rates as low as 3.99% up to 48 months and 4.49% up to 60 months on their most popular models? Germain Lexus, 2 locations to serve you, Dublin and Easton. Check them out online, germainlexus.com.
Care Heating and Cooling. When you need a company you can trust, call 1-800-COOLING.
Hey, it's Anthony Rothman. From sold-out stadiums under Friday night lights to more than 100,000 screaming fans on the banks of the Olentangy, America's football capital is right here in Ohio. But the greatest football players and coaches of all time live up the road in Canton at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And a trip there should be on every football fan's list. Go to 971thefan.com/goldjacket and enter to win a VIP experience to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Ignite the passion. Relive the glory.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car is making this noise. Sometimes it's like doot, 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 and sometimes it's like grrr.
Do you have a dash light on?
Oh, yeah.
Then we don't have to listen for clues. With the free Fix Finder service, we can read a check engine, ABS, or maintenance light to find the likely fix and even recommend a local shop if you need one.
So you don't need to hear the grrr.
Not with Fix Finder. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
All power, zero compromise. Eagle cordless outdoor power equipment features advanced lithium battery technology that exceeds the power and performance of gas without the noise, fuss, or fumes. From mowers and trimmers to blowers and pressure washers, one battery powers over 90 tools. No wonder it's the #1 rated brand in cordless outdoor power. Power beyond belief. Visit egopowerplus.com to learn more or to find an Ego retailer near you. That's egopowerplus.com.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good afternoon. I'm Ryan Baker. 2 months after acquiring him in a trade with the Kansas City Chiefs, the Chicago Bears have signed All-Pro guard Joe Thuney to a 2-year contract extension. The deal will pay him $17.5 million a season. The Cleveland Guardians and Minnesota Twins game last night got suspended by weather in the 4th inning, so they will resume that tonight at 6:10. The Twins were up 2-1 when play got stopped. Then they will play their scheduled game after. The Cincinnati Reds are on a 5-game winning streak. They'll look to make that 6th tonight in Pittsburgh against the Pirates. You can hear it over on ESPN Columbus beginning at 6:10, 6:40 first pitch this evening. The NBA's Western Conference Finals begin at 8:30 as the Oklahoma City Thunder host the Minnesota Timberwolves. This one's sponsored by RCD RV Supercenter in Heath, Delaware, and Pataskala, and always online at rcdrv.com.
Anthony finally hit a hole-in-one.
It's in the hole.
So now what? Just bask in the glory?
And that's how she wrote.
You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
Hell no. Get greedy. Yet another. All right, Maddie. What you got over there? A memo?
Yeah.
A memo from management?
Exactly what I got, big dog. Join us for the inaugural 97.1 The Fan race presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center. It's a 5K run and 1 mile walk happening June 21st at Otterbein University in Westerville. If we can do it, you can do it. Some of your favorite fan personalities will be there, including Tyvis Powell, Common Man, T-Bone, Eric Reeser, and more. And yes, 10 TV's Adam King will be running the race in a suit and tie. Every participant gets a finisher's medal, a race shirt, free photos, and awesome gifts from Logan Services and Raising Cane's. Sign up at 971thefan.com. Again, that's 971thefan.com.
If things go south, things could go south.
Yeah, him running a race in a suit and tie, things are going south. That ain't going to go well.
What does he want,
for
that jacket just to flap like a cape, like Superman? Like, what's going on there?
Oh, man.
Double vented. Shout out to my boys. A lot of the Southern Ohio PGA professionals are doing the Yellow Birdie Bash today. They're playing 72 holes of golf today.
Okay.
To raise money for the Children's Miracle Network. Those funds, I mean, in our region, it's Nationwide Children's, Dayton Children's, Cincinnati Children's Hospital. And for the past 4 or 5 years, the Birdie Bash is going to pass $1 million.
Wow.
So a lot of us support our pros at Little Turtle. Dave McLaughlin and Andy Oxender are both playing today. Boys are already sent me an update on the card. as they got hot early on this cold morning. So the more birdies they make, the more money they raise, and wish them the best because it's one of the coolest things around. And it really, you can't say any more about the medical care and the world-class care they get at those hospitals for children and the funding of pediatric medicine. So way to go, boys. Just keep swinging and make a lot of birdies. This is something that we got into a little bit last year. It's something that we've dipped our toe in the water with college football on whether they should reseed the playoffs according to rank. This wouldn't even be a committee. This is even closer to what it should be. Because in the committee, you're still dealing with human beings deciding which teams are better than the others based on record and so forth. But they meet, whereas the NFL doesn't meet. Your record is your record, but the division is your division. Yeah. So we've had this, and all you have to do, you don't have to go any further than if you just pull up the standings from last year in the NFL and what might have been for a couple teams. And so let's go to the worst division winner last year, or there was a tie for worst. It was Houston at 10-7 and Tampa Bay at 10-7. So you had in the AFC, you had the Chargers going 11-6, but not winning their division because they're with Kansas City. And then in the NFC, you had the Commanders going 12-5, my Vikes going 14-3, the Packers going 11-6. So you had three teams that were better than two division winners in Tampa and the LA Rams, including, yes, because Seattle was eliminated at 10-7 from the wild card purposes. So what the NFL is doing is they're meeting on this. It sounds right to me. It's a break from tradition, certainly, on that if you win your division, that's a big deal, but all divisions aren't created equal every year. So the number one seeds are granted a bye. We know that. So this is under the current format. So we'll play this game. 4 division winners in each, get the top 4 seeds, and that holds throughout the postseason. The wild card teams earn seeds 5 through 7. Pretty easy, and away we go, and that's all we've done. And then the number one seed gets the bye. And then it's pretty easy from there. 2 plays 7, 3 plays 6, 4 plays 5. And the higher seed, the division champ, regardless of whether a wild card team has a better record, has hosted the first round. It does seem off to me, and I don't know what the answer to this is. I got a nice text from Whiskey Paul today, and he brought up a very good point, I thought, which is if you want to seed it as their record, then get a full body of work and stop playing your division twice. Play everybody in the conference. Play as many teams as you can to get a full body of where they are according to the conference. Because if you have a weaker division and you're playing teams twice in that division and it's already weak, but you're maybe a stronger team in a weak-linked division, then you get a bonus of even playing your division twice. Yep. So they're proposing this, Maddie. And by the way, in context, it was kind of Detroit that pushed this through, right?
Yes, it was the Detroit Lions, and it's always felt weird to me, like the scenario we had last year and in years prior, but last year was just so loud with how good your division was, that being the NFC North. And as you mentioned, a 15-win team in Detroit, a 14-win team in Minnesota, 11-win team in Green Bay, and then you have these teams in the NFC South that just aren't up to par, right? The Carolina Panthers, New Orleans Saints, a combined 10 wins between the two of them. I'd like to reward teams that win more games. As basic as that sounds, I think you've earned it. You've earned it, especially when you're playing the likes of some other playoff teams and 2 to 3 other playoff teams within your own division. It doesn't sound like, AR, that this is going to happen this season with the owners voting on this stuff here pretty soon. But I do hope that we get to this in the next couple of years because I think it'd be refreshing for the sport. But you would have teams, especially in Whiskey Paul's scenario, which I think is a good one, where you look at the body of the conference and how you stack up against the best and getting away from, okay, just because we're in these divisions, we have to play each other twice. I think we could fade that away just a little bit and get, I think, even more games that may be impactful later in the year because I think there's a chance for that because sometimes we get into these week 16, week 17 games and there's just not a lot on the line around the league. I think that would change under this new format and breathe some new life into the league. So I'm actually here for this, and I'm hoping that it does happen sooner rather than later.
None of this is a science. I get it. These are teams and playing different weeks. But if you want to talk about a body of work, then get the best body of work you can. And then when you get that body of work, see them as such. And before you call me like a homer for the Vikes, that's not really why I'm saying it. I'm going to admit that the Vikings would have hosted the Rams, but the Vikings got a gift. They didn't have to go to L.A. They went to Arizona. Yeah. They got smacked anyway, so I'm not saying that. Maybe they get smacked in Minnesota, but I do feel like they would have had a much better chance. I agree. Why, a home playoff game? Of course they would have. So let's reseed it and see if it would make a difference real fast. Detroit, they stay the bye. Let me put Philadelphia would be hosting Green Bay. That wouldn't have changed. Here's the change. Tampa did host Washington, but they beat them anyway, right? Mm-hmm. So that wouldn't have been. Now, Washington would have hosted Tampa. From an ownership standpoint, you'd be like, man, I get a home playoff game?
More money.
Of course I would want this if I was an owner. The Rams hosted the Vikes, but they really didn't. They went to Arizona. So that would have changed. The Vikings would have hosted them under this scenario. So under the new proposal, it would have been Lions hosting Rams. I'm sorry, I made a mistake there. The Vikings would have hosted the Rams. The Lions would have hosted the Rams. The Eagles would have hosted
Lions
the
would have gotten a bye.
What's that?
I said Lions would have gotten a bye.
The first round bye, right?
I think it's Eagles, Rams, Vikings, Bucks, Commanders, Packers.
So the NFC division round under the new proposal.
Eagles, Rams, round one.
You get two.
I guess what I did, I advanced them. I'm sorry, I already advanced them. My bad. You're right, but I already advanced them. The Commanders, after upsetting the Bucks, went to Detroit for the divisional round, and the Eagles hosted the Rams.
So the one
under the new proposal, that would change, right?
Yep. The one seeds would have been Detroit on the NFC side, Chiefs on the AFC side. First round under the new format, if we had it last year, AFC side would have been Bills, Broncos, Ravens, Steelers, and then Chargers, Texans.
Yeah, the Texans had a worse record than their wild card opponent, which was the Chargers, who were 11-6. The new proposal only reseeds off record in the second round, which would preserve Houston's right to host a wild card game as AFC South champs.
You brought up a good point.
So that's it. They wouldn't be doing this out of the gate. It would be
round two.
It would be round two. So when I did advance the NFC, I'm correct.
Yeah.
The Lions would be hosting the Rams after they took out the Vikes, and the Eagles would have hosted the Commanders. And then in the AFC, Kansas City hosts Houston, Buffalo hosts Baltimore.
You brought up, I think the reason why this thing is going to happen is because owners are going to look at another opportunity to get the concessions fired up and have more butts in the stands. Especially if I think you're going to be a contender over the next few years or in years to come, which a lot of these owners probably believe they will, especially the teams that we're talking about, because they look like they all have bright futures. They're going to vote this in, AR. If not this year, I think it'll happen next year. I think 18 games is on the way, and I think this is on the way as well.
And if they do that, at some point the conversation is going to come up, do we get rid of AFC, NFC, and go East and West? Because if you're not going to have divisions, then you're just going to segregate it by two conferences. It makes sense to do so to reduce travel.
I can see that.
The only reason for having AFC, NFC is because, well, these teams just have always been in the AFC and these teams have always been in the NFC, but there's no actual benefit there. Mm-hmm. The benefit that the NHL and the NBA have is that they separate it based off travel. And so that conversation is going to be had at some point.
I agree.
My team was 14-3, and they were the 5 seed. I mean, the tied for the second best record in the NFC, and they were going on the road.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what will change or whether it will or not, but this seems like a big one. This seems like one that would get the sport and get people thinking, all right, now we have going into the playoffs the right bracket. We come back, 64-18, speaking of records. So why does that need a retool? We'll examine next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
The only workplace in America to participate in the Doorknob Fart Game. And we also play office basketball and sometimes do radio. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Spring showers revealing roofing or siding issues? Trust the pros at Newman Roofing for expert care, white glove service, and quality you can count on. Schedule your estimate today and take advantage of special financing options. Call 614-NEW-ROOF or visit newmanroofing.com today.
Hey, it's Anthony. You know what the slogan is at the Good Feet store? Good feet, good life. Friends have asked me, how are my personally fit arch supports different from the inserts and insoles they can buy online or in department stores? There are big differences. My Good Feet arch supports are designed to provide me firm yet flexible function. What does that do? They actually help correct poor foot biomechanics, which leads to providing me long-term pain relief. I was also the guy who thought, well, if I buy good shoes, my feet won't hurt. It wasn't a bad thought. A lot of people think shoes are always the problem, when in reality, it's often the foot that goes into the shoe that's the real source of discomfort. When I got my personally fit Good Feet arch supports, my feet felt stabilized. The pain and discomfort went away. For more than 30 years, the Good Feet store has helped thousands of people just like me discover the comfort they've been dreaming of. They're on Stringtown Road in Grove City or Polaris Parkway. Learn more at goodfeet.com.
That's the sound of a Mountain Dew. And that's you enjoying its refreshing citrus kick. That's a cool breeze suddenly whistling through your hair.
Whoa!
That's you realizing you're now on a mountain.
This is epic!
That's you stating the obvious. That's you stepping up to the plate. That's you winning your kickball game.
Yes! Let's go!
That's you taking another sip of your Do the Do.
For over 78 years, our family's been part of your love stories. At Diamond Seller, we offer bigger diamonds, better prices, and timeless designs for every chapter of your life. From your first yes to your forever I do, trust the jeweler who knows diamonds best. Visit Diamond Seller today.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
...to...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom. Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
As down payments get bigger, millions of renters across America feel like they'll never be able to buy a home. So instead of lowering expectations, Rocket Mortgage is lowering down payments to 1% for eligible home buyers with One Plus, helping more renters become owners. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to get a head start on your starter home.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030.
May I have your attention for some important programming news? Whew! Sorry. T-Bone and Tyvus are hosting mornings, weekdays at 6. That means Common Man and Tinny will share Bro Love at 3. My thoughts exactly. The Fan.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is, fast for cash. Do you want to sell your property, however, you need a little help getting through the process? Let's say you have years of belongings in the home. It needs a lot of updating. You're overwhelmed. You might not be big on technology, and you may need help finding a place to go. I will help you. Maybe you've gone through a divorce or a bad breakup, or a relative moved out. It's been hard, and you just want to take what you want and leave the rest behind. I will help you. Retiring and want to sell your commercial properties or land. I will help you. Sellers, whether you're selling as is or selling for top dollar, you're no longer alone. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or call me now for an all-cash offer and, more importantly, the help you need at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
A chilly day ahead today, so don't forget your jacket and your umbrella, although we'll see mostly cloudy skies. We'll also see rain develop with heavy downpours possible at times and gusty winds. Could have a chance of isolated thunderstorms. Showers likely continuing overnight, and then for Wednesday, we still have rain chances in the forecast with highs in the upper 60s. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with your 10 weather impact forecast.
Bet365, the official online sports book of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Matty is a diehard Reds fan. I mean, where else is he going to go? You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
All right, guys, summer's coming. Don't want you to waste any more time, especially more money, on anything low quality when it comes to testosterone replacement therapy. Some charge over $100 just to start. If you go to the TRT experts today at Low T Center, you're going to get a free consultation, a free test, find out where you land on the scale. And then if you need the treatment and you want the experts to guide you, they're there to help you. They'll personalize your treatment to your body, and most major insurance will be accepted. You'll have the freedom to choose if you want in-center care or at-home treatment. You'll be in control of your health. That's how simple it is. Also, if you're looking to drop a few lbs, get a free B12 shot when you start prescription treatment at Low T Center. The offer is limited. This is incentivized for you to get started. This is the best it's ever been. Book now at fixmylowt.com, fixmylowt.com. Just saw this headline.
What do you got?
A food delivery driver somehow ended up on the tarmac at O'Hare and drove across an active runway.
Come on.
To deliver food.
Wait a minute. So you're saying like a DoorDash driver?
I don't know. He might have been me with MapQuest, and things got a little fouled up. You know.
How does that even happen?
Up. We're on our way to the bingo parlor at the YMCA. The instructions got all fouled up. And shut up. Okay. Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Travelers at O'Hare are likely familiar with the sight of cars coming through to pick up and drop off passengers. Anyone caught stopping for too long is told, keep her moving.
Yeah.
The tight ship run at pickup and drop off makes what happened around noon on Saturday highly confusing. A DoorDash driver drove through secured areas before someone realized you're not supposed to be there. A source told CBS News in Chicago the delivery driver drove miles along the interior and restricted roads at O'Hare, potentially crossing runways before someone spotted him from the air traffic control tower.
Dedication. That's all I hear, AR. Dedication to whoever ordered that meal. 5-star DoorDasher, right? They're going to do whatever it takes to get you your meal.
So we're not blaming him?
No, I'm actually I'm actually patting him on the back for this.
You're impressed.
He was saying whatever I got to do to get this meal to this person, I'm willing to do and put myself in harm's way. How could you not respect the hustle?
Or the stupidity.
It's the anti-Ryan Baker. He ain't quitting right there halfway through the job. He's finishing the job.
There's a great line in the story. I keep saying article. That sounds so old school. Who is the madman who looked around at the dozens of restaurants at O'Hare and decided to see if DoorDash would show up? I mean, was it a pilot? Was it a worker out there with the sticks?
Okay, I'm betting on worker. That's where I would bet.
Because he's out there. He doesn't have access to all the stuff we do inside as a passenger.
Yeah. I'm going worker.
All right.
That's who would get that done.
And how in the world could you just stumble upon, be able to drive your vehicle into the friendly confines that aren't so friendly of an airport where the planes are?
Oh, my goodness.
All right.
I thought you were going to bring up the story of the 11 guys that broke out of that New Orleans prison down there. Did you see that?
No.
So
was it near where we were staying?
I don't know, but this has been happening over the last 24 to 48 hours, and I think law enforcement, they've caught a handful of guys, but they have not caught all 11, and they broke out.
Ocean's 11?
Which is a really good movie, by the way. I haven't watched all those, but that one, it seems like it's always on TV, and I enjoy the cast is strong. It's kind of like an all-star cast. I'm in on that. But they broke out where one of the toilets were inside of a prison cell. And above the toilet, they wrote, "Too easy, LOL."
You mean they ripped the whole porcelain out of the deal?
Had a whole big old hole in the wall where the toilet was, I believe, and they wrote "Too easy, LOL" and broke out of there, and they spelled two T-O instead of T-O-O. But there's a couple guys that are still on the loose down there in New Orleans, breaking out of jail.
Did they crawl through 500 yards of blank-smelling foulness that I cannot even imagine, Matty?
That they did not.
Maybe you just don't want to.
Everybody's got a price to do it. Everybody's got a price to do that. 500 yards is, my goodness.
Freedom.
And you probably pass out down there.
Follow them to freedom.
Yeah.
That's the way to go. That's amazing.
Yeah, I'll keep you up to date on that. But I think there's a couple guys still roaming the streets. A couple of these guys were idiots. They went on Instagram Live like I'm out. Like, man. What are you doing?
Yeah.
That's like that guy who stormed the field at the Super Bowl and then told everybody, "Hey, guys, I bet on myself to storm the field at the Super Bowl, so I actually made a lot of money."
Did he actually cash in?
No, his sportsbook said that ain't happening.
Okay, they ripped that from him.
It's unreal. It was like the dudes that allegedly broke into Burrow's little mansion and stole all his gear. And they're showing pictures of themselves with LSU championship stuff and other things that would have been his, and a great watch collection. Everything went right for the Cavs except one thing. They sucked when it counted most. And I gave them not a pass, but I gave them a little bit of an excuse for not being 100%. They weren't. Darius had the toe. Donovan wasn't right. And, two of your best players, a guy dealing with a sprained toe for a while. And, he missed, 4 games? Darius did. So from their series versus the Heat, which was a cakewalk, to the best of 7 against the Pacers, it was a total difference. Here's the one thing I won't give them a pass on. I think when they failed to seal up Game 2, they mentally were broken.
The Halliburton dagger game?
I just think when I went through all that list of that final minute, I just think being down 0-2, it doesn't mean they couldn't have rescued the series. I'm not giving a pass, but I'm telling you, I think it broke them mentally. Or maybe not broke them mentally. I think it exposed them mentally.
Maybe, yeah.
And so now they're kind of stuck. And I said to TLC, and I'll throw this to you, you would dump Jared Allen in a heartbeat, right?
I just think after now, I think 3 years of seeing this, why would you sign up again and expect something to change when the chips are down and the lights are the brightest? I don't know if he's a guy you can rely on. I mean, you look across in this Indiana series, games 4 and 5, he only had 6 rebounds in 2 combined games. I need more. Now, if you're telling me you want to bring Jared Allen back and have some enforcers around him that can do some of the dirty work, then I will see a little bit of the vision. But I think if you're going to expect Jared Allen to be different in the postseason than what he's shown you now, again, like I said, for a 3rd straight time, I think that would be a mistake. I believe in Donovan, Darius, and Evan Mobley and that core, but they need an enforcer or enforcers on this team to provide some type of edge, because that's what they're missing when they run into the Knicks, the Pacers, and the Magic. That's just how I feel about it. I don't know.
It's weird.
He's a good player.
He made his first All-Star team last season.
He's a good player, but there's just something about the postseason for him to where things just go the other way. And his presence isn't there enough.
Yeah. No, I think you're dead on right. The only reason you wouldn't trade him is because in the NBA world, his contract is fairly
that's real
tolerable.
Yeah.
It is. And so if you think he can get back to being the great, the player that he was, or a regular season type of player that he was, versus a player in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if Mobley is good enough at shooting just to kind of hang out on the perimeter, and Allen's supposed to get the boards you talked about.
Yeah, that's what he's there for. Real quick, let's hear from Kobe Altman. Play that last one, TLC, on not maybe overreacting to the postseason and believing in the guys.
Well, I'll say this. Last year, if we were going to be reactionary, it would have been last year, after everything that was written about that group and all the rumors and all this and that, and we stood pat and look what happened, right? I think the same thing now is you lean in even more to what we're building, the culture that we have here, the internal growth, the youth, the sustainability of that. I think there's a championship window that we have here that's wide open, and that's one that we're going to try to pursue next year and the year after and the year after, and so forth. So we're not done by any stretch, but I would say, if there was a time that that we were going to crumble, potentially would have been last year. Certainly not after what we've seen from this group this year. Is something where we're going to break up a group that's been together 3 years and has accomplished what they've accomplished and is ready to take that next step, as disappointing as this ending was.
Nobody's going to care about the regular season with this core anymore. It's been a fun ride the last 3 years, but now it's really about cashing in on serious stuff. So he believes, the players are going to say they believe. They made a coaching change last year, and we shall see when we get to the postseason whether or not they're actually putting their money where their mouth is and cashing in on their words.
If this season doesn't, if Donovan Mitchell told us, y'all are going to write us off. We're going to be back. All right. You believe. We'll be watching. We'll come back in 2 minutes, and we'll find out if Maddie's Reds have October baseball in them when we're joined by radio play-by-play man Tommy Thrall. 2 minutes, Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
At Progressive, we understand the bond you have with your boat. It's why people name theirs.
I named my boat Sure Don't. Get it? The other day when my friend said, "Hey, Larry, you want to head back in? It looks like it might rain." I said, "Sure don't." I guess they didn't get it because they didn't laugh.
Whatever you call your boat, protected by insuring it with Progressive, America's #1 boat insurer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. #1 rating based on boat market share data from refilings.com.
It's time to make your yard the best on the block with Memorial Day savings at the Home Depot. Start by keeping the weeds at bay with Earthgrow Mulch, now 4 for $10. Then keep your garden thriving with Miracle Grow Garden Soil, now on special buy, 4 for $10. Give your neighbors yard envy all summer long with Memorial Day savings going on now at the Home Depot.
Newman Roofing, as part of their 2025 Commitment to Community initiative, is proud to partner with 10 TV and The Fan to launch Raise the Roof, honoring local heroes. This week's honoree is Natalie Lorenz from Delaware. Natalie is a fire dispatcher who coordinates resources during major incidents and provides instructions to callers before the fire department arrives, going above and beyond the call of duty. Her professionalism, compassion, and strength make her an invaluable asset to her workplace and community. Natalie is a true unsung hero who deserves to be recognized.
This Memorial Day, honor the season with big savings at Ohio Mulch. For a limited time, get 5 bags of mulch or soil for just $10.95. Perfect for making your yard look the best for summer gatherings. And here's a star-spangled bonus. Save $40 on home delivery when you order now. Celebrate Memorial Day and beautify your home with help from Ohio Mulch. Visit ohiomulch.com or stop by your local store today.
Ohio Mulch, landscape supply, cleaner, greener, better.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
True to his name, Matty Ice wears a winter coat in the middle of summer. He lives the gimmick, man. You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
All right, Reds on fire. 5 in a row, but the big one is the Ohio Cup. Matty hasn't printed the shirts yet for the division, but they may have October baseball in them. We'll find out a lot more from this man, Tommy Thrall, radio play-by-play of your Cincinnati Reds, right here on The Fan. Tommy, great to have you. Thanks for the time.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you having me on.
Where are they in your expectations now? One game above 500 from where you thought about them before the season. Are they matching expectations, exceeding them, or falling below from what you thought before the year?
I'm not going to lie. I think they're really close to where I thought they would be. I still think this team has a pretty good run in them. I don't think we're seeing that run right now. We might be, but I think they're going to go on a really good run. I mean, we've seen the Cardinals do it. The Cubs are off to a great start. Look at other teams around Major League Baseball. The Twins have been on fire. The Royals went on their stretch over in the American League. So I think this is a Reds team. They have the pitching to do it. I think the offensive approach is getting better. I mean, I think overall it's pretty good right now, but it just continues to get better as the season goes along, and I think it will continue to get better. They're cleaning up mistakes. I know a lot of people look at this team and say, well, they're making a lot of the same mistakes that they made a year ago. They're making some of the same mistakes. They're not making as many as frequently. And I think that's a big step in the right direction. I think that directly points back to the manager and Terry Francona. Those are things he's cleaning up as we speak. So, I think this team's about where I thought they'd be because you knew it was going to be tough early. Just with a new regime, you've got some things to clean up. It kind of takes time. You look at Terry Francona's teams in the past. They don't typically start off that fast. But then they have big second half. So, I like where this team's at right now.
Let's talk a little bit about Elly De La Cruz because, he's one of the bright young stars of the sport. And I know one thing that, he wanted to get cleaned up this year was a little bit of the swing and miss stuff. When you look at Elly this year offensively on both sides of the dish as a switch hitter, what have you seen night in and night out from him?
Yeah, I think there's definitely still some swing and miss there. That's always going to be there, though. When you're talking about Elly cleaning up the swing and miss, you're talking about not as often. And because it's going to be there, he's always going to do it. Look, he's not Tony Gwynn, so you got to keep that in mind. But I think it's gotten a lot better. We're seeing him lay off pitches that he's been chasing his first couple of years in the big leagues. He's laying off the breaking ball down more consistently. He's even shown a willingness to shorten and go the other way, which I think is a huge step in the right direction for him. Now you kind of almost want to see him get back to being a little bit more aggressive at the plate. I think actually, if anything, he might have been a little passive at the dish there for a while. So I think now you're seeing the swing a little bit more aggressive out of him, which is a good thing. And I think as long as he kind of finds the balance there right in the middle, he's going to take off. But he's still figuring it out a little bit. Keep in mind, he's still very, very young.
Reds broadcaster Tommy Thrall with us here on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. Reds winners of 5 in a row, 1 game above 500, and they will be at Pittsburgh again tonight at 6:40. Let me get your how cool was it of a moment for Will Benson and for you calling the game to see a kid who essentially was given up by the Guardians to the Reds and haunts them right away?
I love it. I love any time you see that. Well, let me fix that. I don't love any time you see it. I love any time a Reds player does it to their former team. It's not as fun to see it the other way around. It was so cool. I mean, this guy, if you know him at all, he's the easiest guy on the planet to root for because he's such a great human being. He works his tail off, and he's worked really hard to make the progress that he's made. Like Tito talked about, it would have been really easy for him to kind of fold the tent when he went down to Louisville. That's some really discouraging news when you find that out, especially after coming off a season where you were in the big leagues pretty much the entirety of the last 2 years. That's tough. That's a tough pill to swallow. But he went down, he made the most of it, and now here he is having all kinds of success. I thought as much as the home runs were fun to watch, I thought the hit he had yesterday where he kind of just went against the defense and punched one through between the third baseman to the third baseline, that was a pretty cool at-bat for me because that shows me that he's not just a home run threat, he's just a threat at the plate, period.
I want to hit you up about the Pete Rose stuff that came out a few days ago. And I know the team and the fans celebrated Pete with the number 14 and all that good stuff a couple of games ago. But when you saw that news come down, obviously being around this team and this franchise, you know what he means to the city and the Reds. But your take on where we're at now, what Major League Baseball may potentially do with Pete in the Hall of Fame?
I'm happy that he's finally getting the opportunity. Look, it was time. He paid his debt to the game. It was a lifetime ban, and as far as I'm concerned, I kind of agree with the commissioner in that it's time. So it's a shame that he's not going to get a chance to see it, but I'm happy for his family that he's going to get a chance finally, and I'm happy for Reds fans because I firmly believe he's going to end up where he belongs, which is forever enshrined in Cooperstown with a great plaque.
Tommy, we have a little proof of life with Matt McClain. Struggled early, got dinged up. Now he's back. Are we in full belief now that he will be fully back?
I think it's going to be up and down for him this year. If I'm being completely honest, yeah, sure. I'd love to sit here and tell you guys that he's going to be back. He's going to be the real Matt McClain from this point forward. But the reality is what it is. I mean, he's coming off a major injury. He didn't play at all last year. So I think it's going to be a struggle for him all season long. I think he'll get it figured out eventually. I think next year he's really going to take off. But if you can even get a fraction of who Matt McClain is, which we're seeing, like we talked about, that's still a really big boost for this team. With Tito hitting him down in the order, I think it takes quite a bit of pressure off of him. If he comes all the way back, he'll be right back to the top of the order. But I'm happy with what we're starting to see from him, but I also fully expected that this could be a little bit of a tough year for him, just coming off the injury and missing a whole season last year.
One of the more intriguing moves the Reds made this offseason was acquiring Gavin Lux, right? Dodgers roster is loaded. They felt like they could move on from him and still maintain a level of success, but now he comes down to Cincinnati, and it looks like he's having a pretty good year. Talk about watching Gavin Lux and what you've learned about him as a player.
Gavin Lux is a professional hitter. I mean, he comes from a world championship team in the Dodgers, so you knew that he was going to give you a professional at bat. day in and day out, he's done that. And he's a guy that I think can really hit anywhere in the lineup, which is nice. But I think he's been a huge boost for this team. I think he brings a winning presence. He does a lot, and then he's shown some versatility defensively, which I think has been really nice. So he's been a great addition for this team, and I think he's kind of a steady presence in this lineup, which is something – in my mind, that they needed. And the other guy that you put into that category, too, is Austin Hayes. Hayes presents a little bit more of a threat. I think Lux gives you that professional at-bat every time he's at the plate. Hayes does that and gives you that serious power threat. So a lot of value in both of those guys. I think they've been a couple of huge additions for this team this year.
Well, you've been around. You've been around a lot of ballparks. Where does Pittsburgh rank in the old media food for you broadcasters? Are they bringing it or not?
That's the important thing, right? It's a great park. They feed us well. They take good care of us here. The people are tremendous. So, yeah, Pittsburgh's a good stop, no doubt.
If they get through, they sweep the Pirates, and they take 2 of 3 from the Cubs, where will your mindset go for this team, if anywhere?
If they take 2 or 3 from the Cubs, I really think, well, I'm already of a mind that I think this is a team that can win the division, but they've got to do the little things. They've got to continue to get better. But, yeah, that you take 2 or 3 from the Cubs, I think that sends a message to the rest of the division. It also sounds the alarms. Like you're going to start getting everybody's best ever. Not that they're not already, but I think it really kind of gets this team on everybody else's radar a little bit too. So that would be big. It's going to be a big series this weekend. There's no question.
Great to have you, Tommy. Thanks again. Hope to do it again soon. Thank you.
Absolutely. Anytime, guys. Thanks so much.
You got it. Good luck tonight. Tommy Thrall on the Bryan Heating Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline.
If you're a Reds fan or just a baseball fan or a family looking for things to do this weekend, think about going down to GABP because that Cubs series that we've been talking about, they've got tickets that are just $14 for the Memorial Day matchup with the Cubbies. The action kicks off Friday night with a fireworks Friday and a special drone light show. And then on Saturday, fans in attendance will receive a Reds team baseball card set. So a lot of good stuff happening. Taste of Cincinnati is back this weekend as well with a record number of food vendors and musical acts set up on 5th Street in downtown Cincinnati. The annual food festival runs from May 24th through the 26th and features over 60 vendors that will be serving up all kinds of cuisines from food trucks to brick and mortar restaurants. So get on down to Cincinnati. Great team coming in the Cubs and a lot of good stuff happening inside GABP and right around it.
Oh, it's going to be packed.
Yeah, it'll be rocking down there.
Chicago fans coming. It's going to be massive.
I've been to a couple of Cubs series down at GABP, and there's a little too much blue going on. Yeah. So they will definitely take over the city, but it'll be a great atmosphere.
Former Buckeye OC Chip Kelly already tinkering with a top draft pick. We'll tell you about that next in the Bulletin. Rothman and Ice in the Fan.
Unlike your deadbeat uncle, we'll never leave you stranded in a ditch when you were 6. This promo may have been a touch too specific. The Fan.
Hey folks, it's Austin Ward here, and tell me if this sounds familiar. Over the weekend, you went into your closet trying on shorts from last year. They were all too tight, so you searched deeper in the closet, looking through shorts you stashed away from thinner years. Maybe a big pair had gotten lost in the mix. No luck. Well, I'm here to tell you, don't buy bigger shorts. Instead, do what I did and fit into the ones from last year in just a few weeks with Awaken 180 weight loss. Heck, you'll be wearing your thin shorts again just a few weeks after that. How do I know? Because I'm still wearing my thin Austin shorts again this summer. I've kept my 50 pounds off thanks to Awaken 180's free maintenance support for life. Say it with me. I won't buy bigger shorts. Make that pledge, then call Awaken 180 and make the most out of this summer and every summer after. Awaken 180, your long-term solution for weight loss. Call 844-346-1800 or head online at awaken180weightloss.com. You won't regret it.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom.
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
To...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom.
Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. member FDIC.
As down payments get bigger, millions of renters across America feel like they'll never be able to buy a home. So instead of lowering expectations, Rocket Mortgage is lowering down payments to 1% for eligible home buyers with One Plus, helping more renters become owners. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to get a head start on your starter home.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC, licensed in all 50 states, NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030.
The Roofing Guys are your locally owned, trusted family business right here in Central Ohio. They've been hammering quality and service through the roof for over 25 years, offering professional services in roofing, siding, gutters, and more. Contact them at theroofingguys.com. That's theroofingguys.com.
Care Heating and Cooling. Honest technicians, honest pricing. Call 1-800-COOLING.
That's the sound of a Mountain Dew. And that's you enjoying its refreshing citrus kick. That's a cool breeze suddenly whistling through your hair.
Whoa!
That's you realizing you're now on a mountain.
This is epic!
That's you stating the obvious. That's you stepping up to the plate. That's you winning your kickball game.
Yes! Let's go!
That's you taking another sip of your
Mountain
Do the Do.
All your favorite and least favorite fan shows are available wherever you get your podcasts. Just type in 971 The Fan to the search bar and hit that subscribe button. It's free.
We're the land of the free and the home of the sunburnt, freckled fat guy.
Do it now.
The power of Dell AI with Intel Inside is transforming the world of pro sports. Teams can see curveballs coming with predictive analytics. Coaches can use AI insights to help players improve their shots in real time. And fans can get more out of every winning moment with AI-enhanced replays. Unbelievable! What a play! See how Dell Technologies with Intel Inside can power your wins at Dell.com/win.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Right Way Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Rothman and Ice present Buckeye Bulletin.
Sponsored by Logan AC and Heat Services. Don't go through another air conditioner breakdown. For fast, friendly service, call the experts at Logan Services now for a free estimate and next day air installation.
All right, Buckeye Bulletin. We'll start with a former Buckeye and Chip Kelly. And the Raiders clearly liked what they saw. You're not drafting a running back at 6 when you need a lot more. So you better love him and better think he is the key to everything, which I think we know running backs aren't the key to everything, but when you have a really, really, really good one on already a good team, then it matters tremendously. But I guess when Genty, and I'll let you hear the interview. So this is Chip Kelly doing an interview with Kay Adams. Is that correct? Do I have this set up right? At the NFL
No,
PA?
it is Ashton Genty.
I'm sorry.
She went to that rookie showcase photo shoot thing.
The premier event.
Yeah, whatever that is.
So it's like the NFL Players Association has one. And so Genty shared a conversation that he's had with new offensive coordinator Chip Kelly about trying something different.
You know, sometimes you gotta, go with the flow. What's crazy is, man, Chip Kelly, he comes to me first day of rookie minicamp. He like, you play basketball? Like, you ever play basketball? I'm like, yeah, I played basketball. Like, I could dunk, all that. He's like, okay. He was like, show me how you would guard me. Like, and he acting like he holding the ball.
Let's get up.
He like, show me how you would guard me. He holding the ball. Like, act like you holding the ball.
Okay, got it.
And he was like, that's exactly why you got to be down in your running back stance.
No, you're so convicted.
I was,
and
but...
then he won? Just like that? That's all it took?
He won for now. I'm going to try to persuade him one day. I got to earn my stripes, make some plays first, but I don't think it's going to be the end.
All right, first of all, do you truly believe a guy 5'8" can dunk? That's number one. I just heard that just as a throwaway comment. He lost me on the stance as far as getting into a basketball stance, and that's fine. Maybe it's more like a track stance a little bit where one foot is dropped back and you're not just so Derrick Henry, like, straight ahead. But the fact that he just casually threw out, I played some basketball, I can dunk. I think he's 5'8".
With his athleticism and I think the strength that he has in his legs, I will buy that. Okay. I'll buy that because I've seen some shorter guys get up there and do it with like a tennis ball, though, AR.
Muggsy Bogues at 5'3" was a Martian.
Right. And so can he do it with the basketball? I don't know, but I will buy that he can get up to the rim and probably at least put a tennis ball through there. I'll buy that.
Let me make everybody in this room and everybody listening feel old because I like to do that. Muggsy Bogues is 60.
No, he's not.
Pretty sure.
Is he really?
Anyway.
Wow. So what he's talking about there is we all watched Ashton last year. You've probably seen some highlights. They call it that Halloween pre-snap stance where he's just standing straight up in the backfield. And so Chip Kelly obviously right now isn't the biggest fan of that. But like Ashton Genty said at the back end of that quote, for now, it's something that he can't do. So maybe Chip Kelly will warm up to that when he sees him more in, OTAs, minicamp, and training camp and see like, oh, yeah, our rushing attack can still fly at a high level with him doing his Halloween stance. I want to see it because I think it's absolutely hilarious when you just see him standing back there straight up in the backfield. It's pretty wild.
If you ever went on like a job interview and they asked you like, what do you think you need to get better at? And so I always went with the mindset of you go with the positive weaknesses, meaning, I tend to take on a little too much.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I tend to spread myself a little too thin. I need I multitask a little too much. I should zone in on one thing.
The Michael Scott.
Yes, the one thing with Ashton Genty is that when you hear him say things, and he didn't say it in this bite about, what do you need to do better? I need to gear it down a hair. I need to let my blocks develop a little better. I need to let my linemen catch up to as good as I am. That was a great interview he did, and hopefully he'll give it a shot. Why wouldn't you? And we'll see where his comfort level is.
I think if you're Chip Kelly and Pete Carroll, you want to let the guy do what he does best. And so I think he's very comfortable in that stance. I don't think you want to take that away from him, but maybe they have a legitimate reason, and maybe it has to do with specifics within their offense. So we shall see. I'll tell you this, AR, Chip Kelly's under a lot of pressure out there based off of how they're paying him in Las Vegas to get that offense with Geno Smith and Ashton Genty and Brock Bowers cooking quickly, because you go from making a couple $1 million here in Columbus and then you elevate to $6 million with the Raiders. And so they spent some coin out there this offseason, that being the Raiders on a head coach, quarterback, and a new offensive coordinator. And so Mark Davis is looking at Chip Kelly and saying, with the money that I'm paying you, we better be cooking and cooking pretty soon, because 6 M's for an offensive coordinator is no chump change.
Well, you can just go stumble into a casino and double it, make more. That's where they print it, Matty. Right. A mill here, mill there. Go out on the street, make some moves. Will Buckeye basketball make some moves on Darian Williams? Darian Williams is a kid who played at Texas Tech, and he's withdrawing from the draft and maintaining his collegiate eligibility.
Okay.
So I guess the race is on to land him. He would be an incoming senior. He was really, really good. He was a 15-6 guy, and he entered the draft with hopes of kind of raising his stock. They projected him as a late second. He didn't fare very well at the combine. So he's coming back, and I guess we'll see how serious Ohio State is in on it. But from the experts who are weighing in on this stuff, who follow this stuff, that he enters a pretty heavy-hitting race now between, maybe Kansas, maybe Ohio State, maybe NC State. Yeah.
Okay, that would be an awesome get.
Bill Self could probably swoop in there, but...
Yeah, that's true. That's definitely real there. But, man, you think about the possibilities with him as a guy that can get it done with some size and fill it up, AR, with Bruce Thornton coming back and Royal seeming like he is ready to elevate his game after what we saw this year and take his game to higher heights. That would be an exciting get, no doubt. And it feels like those are the type of guys that you need if you're a basketball program to get things going pretty quickly.
All right, that is today's Buckeye Bulletin. Coming back, top of the hour, Sports Center update. On the other side, a little Chet roulette. He'll spin the wheel. Stay close. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
Buckeye games have been airing on WBNS since before you were born and before your parents were born and before Abraham Lincoln was born. Trust me. Your home of the Buckeyes, the Fan. Get Eco.
ECO. Aaron, which brand of air conditioner is the most energy efficient?
It's the one that's had its outside coils cleaned correctly.
Well, I can wash those off with a garden hose, right?
No.
Why not?
Humidity mixes with dust and pollen to create a microthin film of sticky paste that gets baked onto those hot outside coils.
And that baked-on stuff keeps my coils from releasing their heat into the atmosphere.
Which means your system has to run longer, which uses a lot more energy and it shortens the life of your air conditioner.
Get Eco.
ECO. How do we get that baked-on stuff off?
Remove the exterior shroud, then spray the coils from the inside out with a special eco-friendly solvent.
Can I rinse the solvent off with a garden hose?
Yeah, but only from the inside out.
Or I could just pay Eco to do it.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Eco doesn't take shortcuts. We do it the right way every time.
Get Eco professional coil cleaning for just $468.
When sudden illness or injury strike, Ohio State offers 3 types of urgent care to meet any of your needs. From traditional urgent care to our specialized orthopedic urgent care for activity-related injuries and advanced urgent care for more serious injury and illness. Ohio State's experts treat everything from broken bones to ear infections and colds and flu. When your illness or injury can't wait, the choice is clear.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Guys, listen up. How many of you out there have been diagnosed with sleep apnea? Maybe your partner can't tolerate your snoring every night. You can't stand your CPAP machine. I totally get it. But the good news is there are alternatives to the CPAP machine. And Dr. Mark Levy is here to change your sleep and your life. Trust me, your spouse will thank you later. Dr. Mark Levy can customize an oral appliance that opens your airways, helps you breathe better, and, of course, stops your snoring. That's the main point. It's quick and comfortable and an alternative to those bulky, loud CPAP machines you always hear about. For over 15 years, Dr. Mark Levy has led the way when it comes to treating snoring and sleep apnea, and now he's expanding his practice to better serve his patients with a brand new location in Marysville. I love Marysville. If you're snoring and not sleeping, you need to call Dr. Mark Levy's office today. Do not delay. Schedule your appointment today with Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. You can also visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. And now, sleepbettermarysville.com too.
When you're starting a home improvement project, a few big questions always come up. Who can I trust? Will they be there if something goes wrong? And lastly, how much is this going to cost me? At Newman Roofing, we've been answering those questions for over 30 years. As a family-owned and operated company that takes pride in every aspect of the job, with family members involved in each department of the company, we treat your home like it's our own. That means clear communication, no shortcuts, and a white glove experience from start to finish. And when it comes to cost, we get it. That's why we offer flexible financing options so you can get the quality your home needs at a price that works for your budget. Don't just take our word for it. With over 700 5-star reviews on Google, families across Central Ohio are sharing their Newman Roofing experience. For roofing, siding, and gutter solutions built around family, call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF. That's 614-NEW-ROOF, or visit online at newmanroofing.com. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof.
Make your summer celebrations a good deal better with sizzling deals from Meijer. Fresh from Meijer 80% lean ground beef family packs for just $3.49 per pound, limit 5. Or chicken drumsticks family packs for only 99 cents per pound. And mini seedless watermelon or buy one, get one for $1. Plus, enjoy hot deals all summer long on Meijer brand must-haves, like Meijer chips for $1.99 and Meijer hamburger and hot dog buns for $1.39. Summertime is always a good deal better at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all deals in the Meijer app.
Every great team has its core players, but when the season gets tough, adding the right free agent can make all the difference. The same goes for business. At Robert Half, we found that 67% of companies surveyed plan to increase their use of contract talent to handle workload peaks and backlogged projects. With Robert Half's specialized recruiters' experience, combined with our award-winning AI, you can quickly find the skilled candidates you want. At Robert Half, we know talent. Discover how we can help at roberthalf.com/talent. The playoffs are in full swing, and you can get in on all the action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest game-changing moments to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code JOEQ. That's JOEQ to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good afternoon. I'm Ryan Baker. The Cleveland Guardians and Minnesota Twins, their game last night got suspended in the fourth due to weather, so they will resume that game tonight at 6:10. Then they will play their scheduled game after. The Cincinnati Reds, they're on a 5-game winning streak. They look to make it 6 tonight in Pittsburgh against the Pirates. Nick Martinez versus Bailey Falter, the pitching matchup. You can hear that one over on ESPN Columbus beginning at 6:10. First pitch tonight is at 6:40. The NBA's Western Conference Finals begin at 8:30. The Oklahoma City Thunder hosting the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Stanley Cup playoffs, their Eastern Conference Finals get underway tonight. It's the Carolina Hurricanes hosting the Florida Panthers at 8. This one's sponsored by Dr. Mark Levy. If you're snoring and not sleeping, call Mark Levy's office at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or online at sleepbettercolumbus.com.
Most shows just skim the surface, but Rothman and Ice feel like the biggest story of the day deserves a closer look. It's time for a deeper dive.
Sponsored by Low T Center. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
All right, final hour of the program. We'll get into the old Ravens vault at 2:30 and get a feel on whether they have what it takes to finally break through and get Matty another Lombardi.
You know, it's been a long time coming, AR.
Oh, I know.
A long
Wait's
time
been
coming.
brutal, hasn't it? But first, a little chat roulette.
Let me give you a little bit of the old NFL prime time.
Yeah. Right there.
Berman got an extension. Did we talk about that?
We
Good
did
for
not.
him. Chris Berman. Congrats, man. He's still cooking over there, man. I can't tell you exactly what he does anymore, but I saw that the man got an extension and he's been there for decades. So congrats to Chris Berman.
I'm assuming he still does the fastest 3 minutes in sports when he does the highlights, whether it's Monday night or whatever
like
for the
ESPN
weekend.
Plus stuff?
I really don't know. I really don't know.
Maddie, you nailed it. 50. To get to a 50th anniversary, to be one of the founding fathers, and be that guy.
Awesome.
And I know it's very polarizing. And my theory on this is that maybe Chris, as good and accomplished and everything he is, and he was bigger than life when he first started in SportsCenter, that I've made this reference before, that sometimes guys that were so original don't feel they ever have to reinvent themselves because they were so original, and that's how you know them.
Yep.
The Dickie V's, the Chris Bermans. And then people start to view them more as a broken record. When you're the back, you hear that. And he was so clever in the first doing nicknames to the players and all that. But he and Tom Jackson, when they did primetime,
it was awesome.
Were solid as it gets.
Yeah, man.
He's so good in the postgame at the Super Bowl, live on the field, when he's just very good. I know he's polarizing. I hear he can be tough to handle. He's been around a long time. He can be cantankerous at times. But when he came to ESPN at 24 years of age, I'm not sure what the ding was for, but when he got to ESPN at 24, it was everybody's dream of dreams to be there. And so I'm glad you said it that way, because he is part of the fabric of television sports media and will be forever.
Listen, you drop a cantankerous on it, they're always going to get a ding.
Oh, that's okay.
I'm
sorry.
that's why you got
I like
it.
the vocab.
It's the big word.
Yeah, it was good stuff.
The big word ding.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. I like that. All right, here we go. So, we talked, I believe it was last week, about the potentially rigged NBA draft lottery with Cooper Flagg. Last week's Chat Roulette, we had LeBron talking about, I guess I just conveniently went to Cleveland. I guess Derrick Rose just conveniently went to Chicago. And we brought about the internet conspiracy that if you trade a player to Los Angeles, the kickback that you get a little bit later is a free pick. Well, now we have somebody else adding another conspiracy into the mix. So in 1992...
Oh, Shaq?
I need you to know that there were two teams at the top of the lottery. The Minnesota Timberwolves had the best odds at the number 1 pick. The Orlando Magic had the second best odds at the number 1 pick. And Shaquille O'Neal's a little bit of insight into why the Magic leapfrogged the Timberwolves like that.
In 1992, I think the draft was in June or something. I meet Mr. Stern in March. And he says to me, hey, can't wait for you to come to the NBA. Then he pulls me to his side, you want to play where it's cold or where it's hot? And I was like, hot. And he smiled and I smiled. And then a couple of days later, they had the draft thing. And, Minnesota was number 3. I was like, Orlando, Florida was number 1. I was like, I didn't think anything about it. But, you hear a lot of these conspiracy theories. And, there's a lot of situations that could make these things sound good and sound true. Like, okay, Dallas gets rid of one of the best players, but we're getting a new one. Ding, 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 ding.
Here's why I don't buy it. Because the odds that he's talking about aren't even anywhere close to what we just dealt with
Dallas.
Not even close. You said Minnesota had what, 16, 17% or whatever it was?
They're about.
And what did Orlando have?
Like 14.
Yeah. It wasn't even close.
It was number 1 and number 2.
They had almost an equal chance of landing it. This isn't a 1 out of 100. This was a team that had a 17 out of 100 and a 15 out of 100. Now, you want to drag me into the waters of, like, the fact that Minnesota got 3rd and not even second, that Alonzo Mourning jumped and they were wound up taking Leitner? Yes. I could be like, okay, you got screwed twice, but Shaq's basically intimating, I told the commission I don't want to play it like he's Henry Hill in Goodfellas. And just nowhere cold.
And then David Stearns went behind the scenes and told whoever could make this thing happen, move the pieces around on the board.
I don't care who controls
Get him
it,
to Orlando.
Just nowhere cold.
It's fun to talk
legitimate
about.
Bronchial, Shaq, we can take care of that. We got doctors.
It's fun to talk about. I don't think there's much to it. But listen, when you have Shaq and LeBron on record pretty much acknowledging that the league may not do it anymore, but for their situations that could have been a real possibility, I'm not going to shut the door completely on it. I don't think that happened with the whole Dallas, Cooper Flag, Luka triangle right now. But yeah, maybe in the early 90s, early 2000s, it was a bit of a thing, but I don't think it's something that truly has happened or has happened consistently.
The reason... Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
My bad.
No, finish your thought.
I just wanted to give the context to people when we had the conversation about Cooper Flag. What you said was... Because my first instinct was, why are we rewarding Dallas for trading Luka? And then you brought up the right point, which is if you gift L.A. a prime market, Tinseltown, the Lakers, you give them it's kind of like what Bo and the boys were talking about the other day, which is if you don't have a guy on a branded team, and the NBA loves this, and they're right to say it. But you're right. That's why you would, because everyone was ripping Dallas for trading him.
Nico Harrison was getting cooked, and rightfully so.
And then all of a sudden, they get gifted this, so I can, at 1.8%,
it's crazy.
I can buy that. 44.
All righty. So we got a little bit of breaking news, I guess a few hours ago with Bill Belichick. It is being reported that Jordan Hudson has told someone, we don't know who, but via a New York Times article, she has told somebody close to her that she and Bill Belichick are secretly engaged with the intent of marriage. Okay? So this is all kind of moving pretty fast. Jordan, remember she was just disrupting the interview not too long ago? Mm-hmm. They were doing like the mermaid and fisherman routine on Instagram. This has all been moving kind of fast. And so there have been reports recently that Bill Belichick's family is concerned about him. Colin Cowherd gave a rather cynical, and I don't mind anyone being cynical, by the way. He gave a rather cynical take on why Bill Belichick's family is concerned about Jordan Hudson's influence.
Look, I don't buy into this whole idea that Bill is some old feeble man who doesn't know what he's doing. And let's be honest, families aren't worried about Bill, they're worried about the will. When Dad's worth over $100 million, suddenly everybody's got questions like, who's getting cut out? You really think Belichick, architect of the greatest dynasty in NFL history, lost his playbook in the last 8 months? Come on. I'm old enough to remember the Anna Nicole Smith era. This isn't that. This is a Hall of Fame coach, ghosted by the league, taking a calculated swing at a rebrand.
Okay. I think he's right. I think if they're concerned about him, it's more from a control standpoint. She seems very controlling.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like he's more than happy to be in her shadow a little bit, that he's confident enough. I told you guys last week that I believe this is less about the graphic stuff people want to say and more about the trophy wife. He can't win another Lombardi. This is the other trophy he can win. And I believe that he is carrying around this as a Lombardi. But if it makes him happy, so be it. I think he's right. I think that the family would be very concerned that his net worth could be sliced and diced a little less for a lot of people and a lot more for her. Now, if they can ramrod a prenup through, then all good. But
it's real.
I don't even know if this story is true, but it sounds like some reputable people are putting their names on it.
Yeah, man. I read the New York Times article before we came in here, and it's just some behind-the-scenes stuff, and it's eye-opening how much, I guess, power that she has right now when it comes to Bill Belichick and everything swirling around Bill Belichick, and also the University of North Carolina, to where, NFL Films wanted them to be on the new season of Hard Knocks to lock in on Bill and the program. HBO was on board to do it, but a few days before this was supposed to happen and really go official, Jordan Hudson demanded she be granted content approval and partial ownership of the show. And so then HBO was like, nah, we're good. So this New York Times article that TLC was talking about off the top, you got quotes from a former general manager of the New England Patriots and Upton Bell saying, I think it's ironic that a man who really controlled everything, and I mean everything, is now being controlled by some other person. Quote, you can't just point at the woman here and say she is being controlling. That only happens if you let yourself be controlled. So you got quotes from people that have been around Bill, people that are off the record, but apparently are in the know as to some of these deals that she is 86th over there in North Carolina. Like, I don't know, AR. It's odd for a guy like Upton Bell that said that just always seemed to be so sharp, point A to point B, black and white about everything. Now going down this path of just things being so loose around his name and his football program.
I'm with you on the weird part is that he looks at it differently, that he's not damaging his legacy as a coach or as a respected figure in sports. I think he looks at it as, and because we're not living his life, so we're not around him, how he feels when he has her around him and the other people like revering him and can't believe it. He probably feels like king of the world now. Like, this is actually in his mind, he probably feels like they think even better of me now that I pulled this miracle. Like, if anything, his ego, because that's the one thing I would tell Cowherd, is that you're right about a lot of that. And let's put one more thing into it. He hasn't lost his ego. Mm-hmm. He comes off as a very mild-mannered guy who doesn't care about anything but wearing a holy sweatshirt and looking at football films.
Talking ball, yeah.
But you can't tell me that when he puts on all those rings and wears them to that event, that NFL honor, the NFL honors, he was wearing all of his rings.
That just doesn't seem like
them.
Bill to
and
me.
she was wearing one of them too.
Which is nuts.
So you can't tell me that his ego isn't driving this, and the fact that how this makes him feel. Remember, although he's not out of coaching, which is amazing.
Well, he's out of the NFL.
He's out of the NFL, which is the most bizarre part about all this.
He had 2 interviews with the Falcons, and they went elsewhere. They chose Raheem Morris over him.
Well, we're at the crossroads now. This is
seriously. Maybe they, had a little insight as to her being around him, because that's what this is now. She's a distraction for the football part of it. Bill's happy, fine. I'm all for that. But for what he's supposed to be and what he's supposed to be representing right now, this ain't it.
All right. When we come back, Joe Burrow stepping up publicly for another. We'll tell you what that means next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
We used to have a billboard with our host's face on it, but only ugly people work here now.
You mama say you ugly, hey!
The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Common Man and Timmy here for the ESPN Bet Sportsbook inside Hollywood Casino. Golf tournament giveaway is on May 20th. Win a pair of tickets to the golf tournament where Jen Winters falls down. Visit Hollywood Columbus on social media and follow the steps for a chance to win.
That is a great golf tournament, but I am really just focused on this. All-you-can-eat ribs on Tuesdays and Thursdays throughout May. Only at the ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Did I just say all-you-can-eat ribs?
Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
...to...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom. Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
As down payments get bigger, millions of renters across America feel like they'll never be able to buy a home. So instead of lowering expectations, Rocket Mortgage is lowering down payments to 1% for eligible home buyers with ONE+, helping more renters become owners. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to get a head start on your starter home.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC, licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030.
Hey, it's Anthony. You know what the slogan is at the Good Feet store? Good feet, good life. Friends have asked me, how are my personally fit arch supports different from the inserts and insoles they can buy online or in department stores? There are big differences. My Good Feet arch supports are designed to provide me firm yet flexible function. What does that do? They actually help correct poor foot biomechanics, which leads to providing me long-term pain relief. I was also the guy who thought, well, if I buy good shoes, my feet won't hurt. It wasn't a bad thought. A lot of people think shoes are always the problem, when in reality, it's often the foot that goes into the shoe that's the real source of discomfort. When I got my personally fit Good Feet arch supports, my feet felt stabilized. The pain and discomfort went away. For more than 30 years, the Good Feet store has helped thousands of people just like me discover the comfort they've been dreaming of. They're on Stringtown Road in Grove City or Polaris Parkway. Learn more at goodfeet.com.
Newman Roofing, as part of their 2025 Commitment to Community initiative, is proud to partner with 10 TV and The Fan to launch Raise the Roof, honoring local heroes. This week's honoree is Natalie Lorenz from Delaware. Natalie is a fire dispatcher who coordinates resources during major incidents and provides instructions to callers before the fire department arrives, going above and beyond the call of duty. Her professionalism, compassion, and strength make her an invaluable asset to her workplace and community. Natalie is a true unsung hero who deserves to be recognized.
Good news. Jack has personally invited the Fan to the Memorial Tournament, and we're broadcasting 30 hours of live content, and we'll try not to embarrass ourselves.
Sponsored by Ohio for Responsible Gambling. Visit pausebeforeyouplay.org.
Two guys drove to work. Neither guy wore a seatbelt. One guy got a ticket. One guy didn't. The same two guys drove home. One guy wore a seatbelt. One guy didn't. One guy made it home. The guy not wearing his seatbelt didn't. Don't risk it. Click it or ticket. Paid for by NHTSA.
Did you know 38% of Ohio's teenagers have spent money on gambling in video and online games? Items like mystery boxes, skins, and spin to win mimic gambling, putting children at a higher risk of experiencing a gambling disorder as an adult. So get in the know about youth gambling and start the conversation with discussion guides, parent resources, and more at changethegameohio.org. That's changethegameohio.org.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
A chilly day ahead today, so don't forget your jacket and your umbrella, although we'll see mostly cloudy skies. We'll also see rain develop with heavy downpours possible at times and gusty winds. Could have a chance of isolated thunderstorms. Showers likely continuing overnight, and then for Wednesday, we still have rain chances in the forecast with highs in the upper 60s. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with your 10 weather impact forecast.
Bet365, the official online sports book of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Rothman and Ice present that leads.
Sponsored by Newman Roofing. Call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF. That's 614-NEW-ROOF. Or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
All right, Maddie, Bet365.
Let's get into it, baby, because at Bet365, we don't do ordinary. Bet365 is the official sports betting partner of the Cleveland Guardians. You can bet $5 right now, and get $150 in bonus bets, folks, whether your bet wins or loses. So take advantage of that new sign-up offer deal over at Bet365. Download the Bet365 app today. Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals tonight. I'm looking at the former Buckeye and Mike Conley, the OG for the Timberwolves, to knock in 2 3-pointers tonight against the Thunder. Plus 100 is the juice on that. So hopefully the smooth shooting lefty can make it happen for me and you if you're in on this bet. Mike Conley, 2 threes, plus 100 juice tonight. Western Conference Finals, Game 1.
Okay, I like that. Listen, you get him at even money to knock down 2. I'm going to ride the hottest team in baseball until they're not. They're playing the Pirates. They're on the road. I'm going to lay the 1.5 with the Reds with Martinez on the mound, because if I lay the 1.5, it's plus 120. If I take them on the money line, it's minus 150. I think that's a nice price to pay to just win by 2 or more. It's baseball. It's funky. I get it. But they're on a roll, so why wouldn't I bet them now while they're hot? They're on a heater. And so give me your Reds. Minus a 1.5, plus 120.
I like it. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the Bet365 app. Today, 21 plus only, must be present in Ohio. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. Offer subject to meeting qualifying criteria.
And may the odds be ever in your favor.
All right, the tensions between Trey Hendrickson and the Bengals have kind of reached a different level. We pointed this out last week when Zach Taylor told him, when he texted him saying, hey, if you miss mandatory minicamp next month, you're going to be fined. I don't know the tone of it. I don't know if he was just trying to stay connected with his player and give him all the information possible. You and I said, well, of course he knows this. His agent knows it. And if they work out a deal, these fines are going to be swallowed up anyway. But Burrow is now on the record saying that Trey Hendrickson deserves to get paid. And he dropped a, let me see if I think there may be some even sound on this that I can send your way, TLC, that I didn't notice during the commercial. So I'll send this your way. You can preview that. Maddie and I'll discuss amongst ourselves for the moment.
This is interesting, AR, because this wouldn't be the first time we saw this from Joey B. He went to bat for his guys, Jamar and T, and it was like, okay, now you've got the face of the franchise applying some public pressure to the front office. How will they respond? Well, we know they heard the noise and they realized not only is it going to keep our quarterback happy, but it's at least going to have us amongst one of the best offenses in the AFC and the NFL. So they did that. And now on the flip side of this, it looks like, based off some of the quotes that are out there, that old Joey B may be doing the same thing and trying to shake the room a little bit and getting the front office to take care of Trey.
So let me know when you hear that, if that's worthy of air.
Got it.
Okay. So
I'll let you know whenever.
All right. Here's the interesting thing about Burrow is him going to bat for Trey is going to bat for a defensive guy.
Yeah.
Could make sense of the T. Higgins thing. That directly impacts him. But he wants to win a Super Bowl. He wants the best players on the team. And I think there are two different things here. There's one thing, Maddie, when you say a guy deserves to get paid. It's the other thing when you say he deserves what the market says. Are those the same?
No, they're two different things.
They're very much two different things.
Yeah.
So the Bengals may be in a, hey, we're paying him what we feel he deserves to be paid. What the market says is completely different.
Yeah.
His numbers say he should get paid probably well into the 30 millions. They're probably thinking it's high 20s or 30 at best. And then, like you said, it may come down to years or guaranteed money. But Joe Burrow was talking about it. Is it worthy or not?
No, the audio's not very good because it's like a phone recording, but the gist of it is he's kind of ping-ponging back and forth. Like, I love Trey, but we'll see what the market does. I love him, but, we'll see. And so he's trying to politic it a little bit. He's being a bit non-committal, but
can't pay everybody.
Yeah.
There's a scene in an old movie, Maddie, that I love that kind of drove me into the broadcast media. It's called Broadcast News. It was late 80s. And there's a layoff at the big TV station.
Yeah.
And one of the network anchor flies in to kind of support the local. Like, I'm talking about the network anchor. And Jack Nicholson plays the network anchor. And he's walking around and like the president of the news division. And he says to the president of the news division, boy, this is a brutal layoff. And he looks at him and he goes, well, you could make it a lot less brutal by chopping $1 million or so off your salary. and he looks at him and he gives him the stare and he's like, I'm sorry, bad joke. It's the incredible emotion that we're all under. And I think that's what I would say to Joe. Mm-hmm. You could make this happen. Like, there are ways, and I'm not asking him to do it, but I think he is playing both sides of this. I think he wants him. He thinks he's a good teammate. But when you say he deserves to get paid, we'll see what the market says. That's not the biggest all-in endorsement I've ever heard.
It's really not. And the market has seen a decent amount of movement at high dollars this offseason with Myles Garrett and Max Crosby and those guys. Max getting $35 a year and Myles getting $40 a year. Those guys are just a couple years younger right now. Actually, Myles is 30 and Trey Hendrickson is 31. So Trey and his agent, I'm sure, are banging the table and saying, well, that team up north being the Cleveland Browns, they committed to a guy that's 30 and paying him over the next couple of years into his early 30s and at a very high dollar figure. So these are just the unfortunate games that have to get played. I happen to think that the Bengals they're going to call his bluff. I think they're going to call Trey's bluff. I think they're going to play hardball. They're going to keep that offer that they have on the table right now as it is and say, if you don't want to take this offer, you can play out the last year of your contract. Mm-hmm. You can walk. We'll get a comp pick for you, and you can see if you can get a contract elsewhere from somebody else. I think that's the way this is going to play out, or unless a team comes a-calling and blows them away with some really significant draft capital, then I think the Bengals would be willing to move on from them. I think if you're a Bengals fan, if that were the case, if that did happen, let's say that they got, a first-round pick or second-round pick or whatever it was, that they would have done that prior to the draft. I don't know if that happened or not, but I think those are the two pathways this thing is going to go. Let him walk, play hardball if you're the front office, try to cash in on a Super Bowl with the core that they have and him being your best defensive player, or hopefully a team gets thirsty and wants to acquire his services and gives you some juicy draft picks to have for next year, maybe the year after that.
The good news for Trey Hendrickson is that nobody truly knows other than him, his agent, and the Bengals what he's been offered.
Right.
So he won't look like he gave in if he agrees to a deal. He could always say, hey, they came up a little bit. I'm happy with this. There were a few things I wanted that I got. Mm-hmm. So if he signs a deal for, $60 million for 2 years, he could say that, it was very important to me that there was a 3 in front of that number, and they got there. And he could always say, that's what I wanted, and then not and save a little face on if he was asking for mid-30s or more. So we'll see. The other thing I agree in the leverage, I said this to you last week, and they would never say this out loud, but they already know it. He'll lose $1 million a Sunday.
I know, man.
If he decides to go down that road.
And I think to your point, AR, it's easy to say in May that I'm willing to hold out games. Because what happens is not only is it the financial component that you mentioned, which is probably the realest point of all this, but it's also if games are being lost early on in the season and the defense is the reason why, there's a chance that the fan base might turn on you too and say, Trey, the reason why we're losing these games is because you aren't here.
I wonder, that's interesting you say that. When you first said it, I jumped up and thought that maybe that they would point more at the organization for not paying him.
It may be both.
Rather than the guy who decided not to play. I actually think it's the opposite.
You think it would be?
I think if they lost early, that is the leverage he needs.
Okay, I'm curious what the fan base would do if they see Joey B and the offense doing their thing and the defense. You think
I think they'd look right at the Bengals brass and Mike Brown and say, I can't believe you went cheap. You went heavy on offense. You didn't pay the guy that's been the sack leader for a couple of years, and this is what we got. They would absolutely blame the organization because he doesn't have a history of of being loved?
Mike Brown.
Yeah. I don't think so. I mean, I respect your opinion on that. My instant reaction when you said it was that they would turn on the team and not on the player.
It may be a poll we throw out there, like a hypothetical. If that were to happen, who would you side with as a Bengals fan?
All right. Let's talk about we'll stay in the division in 2 minutes. And for the resident Steeler fan in there and the current Ravens fan in here, Sarah Ellison from Ravens Vault will jump on next. We'll get her opinion on them getting over the top. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
Don't sweat it. Call Care Heating and Cooling, and we'll fix your air conditioner fast. 1-800-COOLING.
Master Grillers Unite. The grilling season never ends at Billiards Plus. Come see their best-in-class grills for yourself and check out Central Ohio's largest selection of pool tables, game furniture, and shuffleboard. Family-owned and operated. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
When sudden illness or injury strike, Ohio State offers 3 types of urgent care to meet any of your needs. From traditional urgent care to our specialized orthopedic urgent care for activity-related injuries and advanced urgent care for more serious injury and illness. Ohio State's experts treat everything from broken bones to ear infections and colds and flu. When your illness or injury can't wait, the choice is clear.
Are you experiencing knee pain? Is something as simple as walking up and down the stairs painful? Well, I found the answer to your pain. Hey, it's Tyvis Powell. What Columbus Medical Director Dr. Aaron Wolkoff and his team are doing is nothing short of remarkable. They are using regenerative cell therapy to restore the tissue in your achy joints. These are biologic growth factors with robust healing properties carefully and strategically placed in your joints. It's a powerful and potent way to give your joints new life, repairing old tissues. Best part with QC Kinetics, there are no drugs, there's no surgeries involved, and there's no downtime. This is an all-natural cellular level option with lasting relief. The patient's satisfaction reports are astonishing. Go to qckinetics.com/Columbus or call QC Kinetics now and learn about these cutting-edge treatment that can help you live your best life. The consultation is free. New locations in Grove City and Canal Winchester. 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Dog friendly. And if you ain't down with that, this is Rothman and Ice.
We'll talk Ravens in a second. I see this headline. If it was April Fool's Day, I would think it was perfect. Ohio State has added Houston Christian grad transfer Eli Brickhandler.
Come on.
To fill out its quarterback room for 2025. First of all, maybe the greatest name in college football.
Is that a real
I'm glad
program?
He's not a basketball player.
Is Houston Christian a real program? I don't know.
We'll get our guys digging in on this.
Okay.
Houston Christian grad transfer Eli Brickhandler.
There you go. Welcome in, Eli.
Such a good name.
Welcome in.
A better name is Sarah Ellison, co-host of Ravens Vault. My condolences for having to work with my boy Bobby Trossett.
Well, first of all, my name is not better than Brickhandler. That is a great sports name. And Bobby was freaking out when I told him I'd be on with Anthony Rothman and Ice because he wanted me to tell you, Anthony, that he misses you and he loves you.
Well, he didn't miss me or love me enough to get in touch when he blew into town recently, but I'll take that up with him later. I know you guys are busy. First of all, it's a pleasure to have you, especially because my boy Maddie is the huge Ravens fan. So I'll put you on the spot right now. Has Lamar Jackson's failure is a strong word, but lack of success in the playoffs, where's your belief in him that he is the guy to take them over the top? You'd never get rid of him. He's an ultra talent. No one would ever say that. But do you guys still have questions about whether he can really bring it when it counts the most?
No, there's really not in Baltimore. It is kind of crazy. And I know from the outside looking in, that sounds bad because you just look at the playoff record and you automatically think, oh, Lamar Jackson. I've obviously been covering him since the moment he was drafted by the Baltimore Ravens. And I'm telling you, every time I watch him in the playoffs, he keeps getting better and better and better. And it really is unfortunate. I would like to see his teammates meet him there. We know in that AFC Championship game against the Chiefs, again, it felt like Lamar was playing out of his mind, but, Zay Flowers gets the ball knocked out of his hands at the 1-yard line right when they're about to make a play. And then, Mark Andrews in the divisional round against Buffalo last year on the penultimate offensive drive, Mark Andrews also gets the ball, punched out, and he fumbles it on the 2-point conversion that would have tied it up. He drops the ball. And Lamar Jackson had a phenomenal second half, just so good. And so as I watch him and as I've covered him, when you're on the inside, you can see how many times it's like, oh, Lamar can't get over this obstacle and this obstacle and this obstacle. And I'm telling you, there's just been 1,000 that he's broken through. And so the confidence level is still high. I think what really is getting in the Ravens' way is turning the ball over on offense and really the defense not being characteristic and not turning the ball over in the playoffs. And so as a team, they're not playing their best football in the playoffs, but I think Lamar has been breaking through that. The rest of the team needs to follow him.
Sarah, there's certain guys that have suited up for the franchise, as you know, that to me are just born to be Ravens. And one of those guys is Derrick Henry. And he's been in the news over the last couple of days because they've done business again, that being the Ravens and Derrick Henry. Talk about that deal, your thoughts on that because of where he is in age, but more importantly, the fit and how you've seen that work out with Lamar, and Todd Monken in the offense.
Well, it's crazy because they talked about the age when they first signed him, coming out of Tennessee last year. And I thought that was legitimate. A lot of running backs hit a cliff once they hit 30 years old. I think the duo of Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry is something that I think Baltimore is spoiled to have. And I think Lamar and Derrick themselves realize how spoiled they are. Lamar Jackson has never played with somebody that actually tempts an opposing defense to take their eyes off of him because they have to focus on Derrick. But at the same time, Derrick says the same thing. He's never played with somebody coming out of Tennessee that it's like, oh, I have to take my eyes off of Derrick and look at Lamar. They had a lot of success. What's crazy is Derrick Henry, at 30 years old, had a career high in terms of yards per carry. The Ravens started out trying to, manage his snaps in the early weeks and kind of ramped him up knowing his age. And so he almost hit 2,000 yards and, again, had that career high in yards per carry. And then Lamar also had, in some statistical categories, his best year. I mean, he was the third best passer rating in NFL history last year. And then he did his usual things with his legs. But it's a crazy duo that's super good. And they just have to take advantage once January comes around.
Visiting with our friend Sarah Ellison, co-host of Ravens Vault. She's on the Bryan Heating Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. All right, so give me a couple of takes here. The schedule's unveiled. The first four, no picnic. You get Josh Allen, you'll get Goff, you'll get Mahomes. I bypassed Cleveland because they're Cleveland, but that's no picnic. Your first four out of the gate: at Buffalo, Cleveland at home, Detroit, and at Kansas City. Your thoughts on the way the schedule laid out?
I think you could go 2 more weeks, and I think there's a couple more playoff teams in there. It's bananas. It really is bananas until their bye week. I think the way Baltimore is looking at it is that they can make an early statement to the league in those first 6 weeks. When you have playoff team after playoff team, one that knocked them out of the playoffs this year, and the other one being the Chiefs knocked them out of the AFC Championship the year before, they can make an early statement. What the Ravens have going for them in terms of getting all these playoff teams right off the bat is the Ravens, for the first time in a while, have not had a lot of turnover in the offseason. Last year, they had a new defensive coordinator, lost their leading interceptions player, and they lost their top pass rusher. And they lost their Pro Bowl inside linebacker, Patrick Queen, who went to the Steelers. So they were dealing with all that. And on the offensive side, they lost 3 starting offensive linemen. And unexpectedly, in the beginning of the season, the offensive line coach passed away. And so they were dealing with a crazy amount of issues going in. Now, both offensive coordinator and defensive coordinators returning. Only one starting offensive player is not returning. And most of all, the defense is still intact. So they don't need to learn any new playbooks. Most of the guys are carried over from last year, whereas other teams will probably be dealing with some more turnover. And so that's what the Ravens have going for them, maybe being able to catch other teams off guard while they're still getting their legs underneath them.
want to hit you up about a couple of their draft picks in the draft, specifically Malachi Starks and Mike Green, and how you think those guys can be impactful in year one inside of that Ravens defense.
On paper, the draft could not have fallen any better for the Ravens. If you were going to poll media, poll Ravens fans, two of their top needs was going to be a pass rusher, potentially a game record. We saw how the Eagles beat the Chiefs, and it's just by getting pressure on Patrick Mahomes. Lamar Jackson, he's got to do his part, but somebody's got to be able to slow down Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. The defense has got to step up. They're hoping Mike Green to do that. To see him drop all the way to 59, I know is bananas. We understand why, because of the off-field allegations. The Ravens did their homework. They said that they felt like they felt very comfortable in taking him. The fact that some had him as like the number 2 best pass rusher behind Abdul Carter. I don't know if he was that, but maybe 2 or 3. And so to have that in the second round is insane for the Ravens. And then Malachi Starks, they were already in need of a safety. But just last week, in the first week of the offseason conditioning, the other starting safety from last year, Adarius Washington, he blew out his Achilles tendon. So now Malachi Starks in the first round is looking even better. But the praise on him is high football IQ. He knows not only where he's supposed to be, but all other defenders, and he can already read offenses like a veteran. He's got athletic ability. He has a pedigree coming out of Georgia. He's going to be asked to start from week 1, so he might go through some rookie growing pains, but hopefully by the end of the year you can see him doing something similar to what the Eagles corners, their rookie corners, were doing by the end of the year and ultimately winning the Super Bowl.
All right, Sarah, final question. You have one drive, and you give this guy the football. You need a touchdown. Lamar Jackson or early 90s Steve Young?
How could you do this to me? How could you do this to me? Obviously, you've done your homework.
You don't have to. You don't have to answer. I have sources. I know you're a proud Coug. I get it. Steve was actually at the Memorial Pro-Am last year, and I was able to walk and talk with him from the 9th green to the 10th tee. And one of the greatest runs he ever had in football was against my Vikings. And we talked about it, had a great visit. He's one of my favorite players all time because I don't think anybody combined passing, running, toughness, and just competitiveness and completion percentage like he did. I think he's probably one of the most underrated all-time greats, but I thought that would get you. You do not have to answer the question.
I appreciate you letting me wiggle out of it. We actually had Steve Young on our show, not this last Christmas, the Christmas before, because the Ravens were playing the 49ers, and he came on for a good hour. I don't know that there's a bigger fan of Lamar Jackson than Steve Young. I'll just put it that way. He has been rooting for him. He feels like he sees himself in Lamar and that he was underrated, and, you know, people want him to move positions, all that kind of stuff. And so I saw Steve again at the Super Bowl in Las Vegas about a little over a year ago. He wants Lamar Jackson to succeed so badly, maybe even more than everybody in Baltimore.
Give BT my best. Hopefully we'll have you pop in studio this summer. We appreciate you. Thanks for jumping on.
That'd be great. Nice to meet you.
Thanks. Sarah Ellison, Ravens Vault, proud BYU alum, the president of the Central Ohio Steve Young fan club, all of that. Works with one of my favorites, but great to have her on.
Yeah, she was awesome.
All right, we'll come back with Tell the Truth next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
All the 10 TV people come over to our side of the building to take a deuce. That should tell you something about how we operate. The Fan.
So we bought an actual shopping mall and put one of the largest Honda dealerships in the world inside of it. Hi, it's Steve Lindsay with Lindsay Honda. So it's big. We house about 150 to 200 cars indoors, lit, all unlocked, ready for you to be able to view and see. A fully tempered climate. Doesn't matter if it's raining outside, 10 below zero, super hot. There's real trees inside, and it's just a casual environment. And if you haven't seen it, it's really a cool story, not about its opulence. It's just a cool story to see what was a dilapidated old mall being reinvigorated into a pillar in the community that everybody benefits from.
This month at Lindsay Honda, choose a 2025 Honda Ridgeline RTL, Honda HR-V or CR-V, and pay just $299 a month at our famous Lindsay Honda Trade-A-Thon. We'll trade for anything and give you $1,000 more for your vehicle all month long. Visit lindsayhonda.com for details.
Pay today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie you should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
...to...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget. Thanks, Mom.
Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
As down payments get bigger, millions of renters across America feel like they'll never be able to buy a home. So instead of lowering expectations, Rocket Mortgage is lowering down payments to 1% for eligible home buyers with One Plus, helping more renters become owners. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to get a head start on your starter home.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC, licensed in all 50 states, NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030.
It's Leslie from Pella Columbus.
I'm Wilson from that other window place.
Wilson, I got the nicest Google review today. Dewey from Gehanna said, "We cannot believe we are able to get the Pella look and quality at the cost we did."
I got a review too. Listen to this. "These windows were great." Oh boy, for about a year. Looks like I'll need to renew, in quotes for some reason, my windows way too soon. Repeat customer?
Get the window that homeowners rated the leading window brand in Columbus at PellaColumbus.com.
The Fan is headed to the Memorial. Are you ready for 30 hours of live coverage? Oh, it's true, baby.
Sponsored by The Waterworks and Header Plumbing, Drain, Heating, and Cooling. TheWaterworks.com.
The best Memorial coverage, The Fan.
Thinking about buying your first home? Now, with Third Federal, you can buy your first home and pay no PMI. Hi, I'm Mark Stefanski, Chairman and CEO of Third Federal. Private mortgage insurance, or PMI, can cost thousands of dollars over the life of your loan. And you may not realize PMI doesn't protect you. It only protects the lender in case of default. But at Third Federal, you can buy a home with just 5% down and no PMI. Plus, first-time home buyers get $750 off a closing cost. So if you're thinking about buying your first home, go for it and visit thirdfederal.com.
Even before you find a home, lock in 6.625%, APR 6.685% on a 30-year fixed-rate purchase mortgage. Visit thirdfederal.com or call 1-800-3RD-FED today. APR reflects 15% down for $350,000 loan amount. Rate requires automatic payment program and is subject to change. Restrictions apply. See conditions for closing cost coupon at thirdfederal.com/FTHB. Equal housing lender.
All your favorite Fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Tell the truth with Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Window Nation. Now buy 4 windows, get 4 free. Plus a free entry door with a house of windows. Visit windownation.com.
All right, big man, take us home.
Alrighty, so I was on the internet yesterday.
Oh, just surfing the net.
Just surfing the net, man.
Scroliosis.
I think they call it doom scrolling. Is a term for
it. Is that different than your dorm storming that you like to do?
Yes, doom scrolling and dorm storming are two very different things.
Speaking of that, by the way, I got a text after the show and saying your boy TLC saying dorm storming is crazy. They've never heard of that. That was eye-opening, I think, to a lot of people.
Maddie, he invented it.
I did not.
It's crazy.
I did not hear that until last year or maybe 2 years ago.
Okay.
So I'm a bit new to the term, too.
So give me the other term about
doom scrolling.
Doom scrolling.
That's when
after a dorm storming.
After you can do both.
So we had dorm storming yesterday, spinning the block yesterday, and now doom scrolling. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So we're educating everybody here. Okay. A dorm storm is when you are no longer a college student, but you find yourself in a dorm for a particular reason. A doom scroll is when you're spending way too much time on social media and perhaps driving yourself crazy.
Yep.
The more that you consume it and you just can't put the phone down. And then circling the block.
Spinning the block.
Spinning the block.
Is going back to an X.
An old flame.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Okay. Actually, now that I think about this, I was thinking I was doing 2 out of 3 of these by even bringing up this topic. But I saw a social media influencer, not like super famous, or not Jordan Hudson, not like a name that you would know, but just, like a girl in her mid-20s. And she was putting out some hot takes that she had on societal norms and some societal trends. And she labeled this post as propaganda I'm not falling for. So everything underneath this is stuff that she does not like and is firmly against. Okay. Number one, I actually agree with this one. She says, college being the best 4 years of your life. I'm down with that because, your life just doesn't end when you're 22. You still have more to achieve. You still have more. You have a career, family, perhaps. What?
I think she's wrong.
You think college is the best 4 years of your life?
100%. It's the first time you're truly away from your parents. Mm-hmm. It's a freedom that you'll never feel in your life again because of the timing of it. I'm not saying you won't be free as an adult, but the decision making, the eating what you want, going to bed when you want, doing as long as you stay eligible. I feel like, how could it not be the best 4 years? I think unless you just can't handle the schooling part.
As long as you stay eligible.
Well, that's what I mean. You've got to somehow stay in school, and there's pressure to do that.
I think there's a financial component to that as well.
Bachelor.
No, well, that you should be eligible all 4 years or more.
I think there's a financial component to that AR, because that was a good one right there, TLC.
He's getting better at the context.
Good. That was a good one right there.
Boingo, boingo.
Because when you're in college, everything that you said, AR, I wholeheartedly agree with. But I think the years to where maybe late 20s, early 30s, to where you got a solid job and the financial situation may be secure for you, I think can open up some of that freedom and do some things that you couldn't do in college. But I will never forget that first couple months of college to where you're doing I'm staying out till 1 a.m. on a Tuesday. I'm doing whatever I want when I want. That's hard to be. That is hard to be.
I think there's a big difference between having to get up to go to a class or blowing it off and getting the notes versus I have to get up and go to a job. Yeah. And it may be a great job. It may be a job like this, but there's a different pressure of a livelihood. Maddie's right. Mid-20s, high 20s. Maybe you have no real big boy bills yet, and you're bringing in a little coin. You got some flash cash.
Not married yet, no kids yet.
You can go out to the bar and flash that cash.
Oh, yeah.
Withdrawal on Friday, redeposit Monday, just to look like a baller. I've had friends like
Speaking
that.
From experience or no? Friends, okay.
I once said to a friend of mine, hey, you got that flash cash? He's like, I don't know what you're talking. What do you mean flash cash? And I'm like, you take out a lot of money on Friday so you can have a big wad of bills to show at the bar, and then you redeposit it on Monday.
Yep.
He's like, oh, that's flash. I'm like, yeah.
Flashing your cash.
I just think
there you go.
That college goes so fast, and there are times that you can't even believe how fast. Mm-hmm. And I'm against what she said. I think that it has to be the best 4 years.
Wow, I'm actually on her side on that one. But then she gets into some stuff that I don't like. Because, in Ice, I got to imagine you're going to be in lockstep with me because she went after some fitness trends.
Okay.
So she's labeling this as propaganda that she's not falling for. Sugar-free food alternatives. So her whole point here with this whole thing, the theme is, go live your life, do what you want. Probably in her head, live your best life or whatever the cliches are and all the anthems that, girls in their mid-20s say on social media. And so she's saying sugar-free food alternatives, basically just eat what you want. And I got to be honest with you, she's in good shape and she's very attractive, but that's a dangerous game that you're playing.
Yeah, you can never just eat what you want, no matter how healthy it is.
Not every day. If she's putting this in context of 80-20, once a week, eat what you want, then fine.
Yeah.
No, because she's also going after, and there are a couple in here that I think she's going after the Rogan audience. Yeah. She's going after 75 hard and black coffee.
I don't. Wait, what?
I don't know.
What am I missing there?
75 hard and black coffee.
Are you aware of what 75 hard is?
No, I'm not.
Oh.
And don't play the boing either.
No. It's a fitness trend where for 75 days you stick to your diet, you drink water, you read 10 pages, that whole thing. She's going after that too.
I thought she was talking about Belichick.
Well, Before we go, if you missed anything from our show, don't worry. You can always catch up via the podcast wherever you get your podcast. Type in Rothman and Ice. Everything we do from noon to 3 will be waiting there for you. Bet365 is the exclusive sports betting sponsor of the Rothman and Ice podcast.
Well done. He played hurt again, TLC. We appreciate you. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow at high noon. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
Here's a quick 10-second reminder that the Buckeyes have won the Natty. Also, we are all the games, and we always will. Thank you. Your home of the Buckeyes, the Fan.
Hey, it's Anthony. You know what the slogan is at the Good Feet store? Good feet, good life. Friends have asked me, how are my personally fit arch supports different from the inserts and insoles they can buy online or in department stores? There are big differences. My Good Feet arch supports are designed to provide me firm yet flexible function. What does that do? They actually help correct poor foot biomechanics, which leads to providing me long-term pain relief. I was also the guy who thought, well, if I buy good shoes, my feet won't hurt. It wasn't a bad thought. A lot of people think shoes are always the problem, when in reality, it's often the foot that goes into the shoe that's the real source of discomfort. When I got my personally fit Good Feet arch supports, my feet felt stabilized. The pain and discomfort went away. For more than 30 years, the Good Feet store has helped thousands of people just like me discover the comfort they've been dreaming of. They're on Stringtown Road in Grove City or Polaris Parkway. Learn more at goodfeet.com.
This week's Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame moment looks at the return of a local legend. On August 15th, 1984, the Reds made a deal with Montreal that would send infielder Tom Lawless to the Expos in exchange for a 43-year-old Cincinnati West Sider by the name of Pete Rose. The announcement of Rose's return as the club's player-manager was supposed to take place the following day, the 16th, but word leaked that afternoon, and general manager Bob Hausum was forced to inform Vern Rapp that he'd been replaced just prior to that evening's 3-2 11-inning victory in St. Louis. After an off day on the 16th, the stage was set for a Friday night contest against the Cubs at Riverfront Stadium. Rose had penciled himself in at first base and second in the batting order. In front of a screaming crowd of 35,038, the familiar number 14 came to the plate in the bottom of the first inning. What happened next was vintage Pete.
Here's a pitch and a line drive, base hit into left center field. Here comes Gary Reedus, and Rose has tied it up. The ball gets by Dernier. Pete is heading toward third, and he's going to be in head first. How about that?
The Hall of Fame moment is brought to you by Western and Southern Financial Group. Put their financial strength behind you. Visit westernsouthern.com.
Hey folks, it's Austin Ward here, and tell me if this sounds familiar. Over the weekend, you went into your closet trying on shorts from last year. They were all too tight, so you searched deeper in the closet, looking through shorts you stashed away from thinner years. Maybe a big pair had gotten lost in the mix. No luck. Well, I'm here to tell you, don't buy bigger shorts. Instead, do what I did and fit into the ones from last year in just a few weeks with Awaken 180 weight loss. Heck, you'll be wearing your thin shorts again just a few weeks after that. How do I know? Because I'm still wearing my thin Austin shorts again this summer. I've kept my 50 pounds off thanks to Awaken 180's free maintenance support for life. Say it with me. I won't buy bigger shorts. Make that pledge, then call Awaken 180 and make the most out of this summer and every summer after. Awaken 180, your long-term solution for weight loss. Call 844-346-1800 or head online at awaken180weightloss.com. You won't regret it.
Get your air conditioner fixed fast. Call Care Heating and Cooling, 1-800-COOLING.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Guys, listen up. How many of you out there have been diagnosed with sleep apnea? Maybe your partner can't tolerate your snoring every night. You can't stand your CPAP machine. I totally get it. But the good news is there are alternatives to the CPAP machine. And Dr. Mark Levy is here to change your sleep and your life. Trust me, your spouse will thank you later. Dr. Mark Levy can customize an oral appliance that opens your airways, helps you breathe better, and, of course, stops your snoring. That's the main point. It's quick and comfortable and an alternative to those bulky, loud CPAP machines you always hear about. For over 15 years, Dr. Mark Levy has led the way when it comes to treating snoring and sleep apnea, and now he's expanding his practice to better serve his patients with a brand new location in Marysville. I love Marysville. If you're snoring and not sleeping, you need to call Dr. Mark Levy's office today. Do not delay. Schedule your appointment today with Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. You can also visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. And now, sleepbettermarysville.com too.
CME Federal Credit Union wants to try to beat your auto loan rate with rates as low as 5.25%, plus no payments for 60 days. Visit CMEFCU.org today and start driving to a better deal. Terms and conditions apply. Minimum floor rate of 5.25%.